Yeah, so I'm a reporter in this book. That's me, looking very serious and mispronouncing Brian K. Vaughan.
Was that on purpose?
Yes, they're buddies, and he was like, "Hey, Brian, I'm gonna kill you in my comic, and also I'm gonna spell your name wrong." And Brian's like, "That's hilarious." So.
Good evening, everybody. It's Saturday night, which means you're watching fucking Modern Comic Mayhem. The show that we will be talking about everything from spec to local news to anything else. What are you guys fucking laughing at?
Your fucking
intro,
great,
bro.
Your intro. You're just missing a fireplace behind you, you in a silk robe, a glass of cognac in your hand.
I was going to say, you need a
you're
smoking jacket.
swirling it around. Good evening. Yes. Sorry to interrupt.
But welcome, everybody. It's Saturday night, so you know it's obviously the mayhem has already fucking started. My name is Kylo, and you guys are my fucking rogues gallery, which I don't even fucking care anymore. Introduce yourselves.
So I'm still trying to figure out how to work a computer.
So from the Star Wars show that
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. Hey, yeah, so I think we're really pulling it here. I know Kylo came in last minute. Hey, if you guys saw the intro, really dope. Check out Comic Book Women. They had a great interview. I'm Marco. Those people that do Comic Book Women are my friends. You see some of them on the aforementioned crappy Star Wars show that we do.
Also known as the crappy Star Wars show.
that Star Wars show is fantastic.
It is. It's so much fun to watch.
These are my 6 viewers right here for the show, so it's nice to see everybody live. And, go ahead.
I'm Matt. Marco stole my intro.
What, did you have a crappy Star Wars show?
I do have a crappy Star Wars show.
We all have crappy Star Wars shows.
Yep.
Hit it, Tim. You're up.
I'm Tim. I don't have a crappy Star Wars show, but I enjoy watching them.
Nice. I'm Mike from the Grizzled Geek, and I'm the #1 fan of Marco's crappy Star Wars show. So,
thank you.
Oh, and as always, everybody, I am Solo Wookie, the co-pilot of the crappy Star Wars show.
Hey, my show's quality, dude. Just because it's over everybody's head doesn't mean that it's a bad show.
Agreed.
Hey, I bet you they let, I don't know, on your crappy Star Wars show, they actually let you finish the intro.
I mute everybody.
Next week, I'm going to have a pipe in my cognac, though. Don't worry.
Yeah. It felt too classy. I thought I was on the wrong podcast for a minute. I'm like, what's going on?
I try to, I like to throw curveballs once in a while.
That's right.
Give him a break. He couldn't talk 2 days ago. So he's
Note to self, smoking jacket for Kylo Christmas.
Nice.
Check.
Yes.
Good luck with the mail service. Have you guys? Can we skip every? Wait, no. I know they got to get into it, but let's talk later about this mail service issue we're having because it's really ticking me off.
Blows.
It is ticking me off, dude.
Yeah,
it really is.
Fucking start.
Oh no, I don't want to start with that. I know you don't want to start fire already, do we?
That's right. You want to set the mood with something positive first.
You're over there chilling in the background. You don't want me just to set fire to this whole thing and just go. But yeah, I mean the. What do we got besides that? Because we can go into it if you want. But
the only thing we prepared for was
you lit that fire. So
all right, let's get into it. So
everyone in this chat, welcome chat. is here just to listen to you bitch about the U.S. Postal Service.
Yeah. Well, it's not the U.S. I have nothing against the U.S. Postal Service. Very nice people that work at the U.S. Postal Service. I think they're a little bit handicapped here. And this is the problem, though. That it's not even the U.S. Postal Service. It's what's eBay's doing to us. Look, we know there's a problem, right? The U.S. Postal Service is trying to get through it and figure it out. Whatever that problem is, I'm not even going to get into it. What I have a problem with is the 10-day, and then all of a sudden we'll let people complain about how long the Postal Service is, and then you got to give them a refund, and then you got to pay for their shipping back and all that type of junk. Like, they have to do something about that. I understand the Postal Service is gone. It's not my fault. You ordered something on the 30th. I sent you there, and it got lost in the mail. It's not even lost. It's literally sitting. I could drive down to the center. I'm not going to call out the one center that's terrible by us, but I know where it is, and luckily a lot of my packages aren't going there. But when it started off around Thanksgiving, we've had a bunch of packages, and it's not just me, that went to one of the main the hubs.
Warehouse.
Right? Yeah, went to one of the main hubs. Some of the stuff is still sitting at that hub.
Yep.
This is the problem. After 10 days, if you don't get a re-ring in or a movement, eBay allows people to file claims against you that nothing's happened in 10 days for the movement, so they can file a return claim. They can get their money back. They tell you to file insurance thing. It's not lost, though. It's still behind, and everybody knows it's behind. And the only time this comes in a problem is two things. One, which you'll always get, is buyer's remorse. Okay, I understand. We schedule in, anybody who sells a lot schedules in, there's going to be some buyer remorse. That's not the problem. The problem is, over the last 7 to 10 days, the amount of claims that have come back for did not mail, don't have response, can't, and it's not responsive because we're saying, hey man, still there, still checked out, but what are you going to send them? The same comment over and over again? You're not getting a notification because they're not scanning anything in because it's sitting outside, and I get that, but like,
it's just sitting somewhere.
Yeah, but at this point, like, buyer's remorse, even sometimes when they have it in their hand, that takes care of it. Now when they see, I'm not selling $20 books either, right? Like, that's where I'm getting the kicker, and then I have to, they want to pay, you're going to have to pay for a shirt. So even if I get the books back, even if I take a wash on the sale, don't make the money off the sale, right? I'm still having to pay for the ship back whenever it gets over there, which is probably going to be, they'll probably be getting it in the end of January after they've already gotten a refund from eBay. And then now I have to hope that they send it back, and I have to send them money to ship it back, and I have to reinsure it to get it back. And then I can relist that book in March. That sounds fun. That sounds fun and fair, by the way. Sounds like you're running.
Book the other day, and that's what I was like. It came up because I even forgot I had it listed. I'd been sitting for so long.
Right.
I actually didn't even remember I had any books because I was waiting until after the holidays to do anything. And I was like, and I got a message, somebody had set me a best offer on a book, and I was like, fuck, I should just decline it. And I was
Kylo,
like,
you need to come closer to your mic, bud.
how's it sound?
Better.
At
least you can hear you, and like Marco, who just
You can't hear me?
now we can.
Now I can, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Hey,
But that's what I was. Oh, go ahead.
Go real quickly, like George and everybody in the chat. I'm not knocking postal workers, and I would volunteer to. But you know what? You know what they also didn't do in our district? They didn't get, like, there's a list they send out for volunteer people around the holidays for sorting. They're so backed up there that they're not even doing that. And I'm not going to get into the integral parts of the post office and everything else. I love my postal workers. Don't get it wrong. They get well taken care of, even the people that deliver and the people that deal with my packages, because I live in a smaller town. I know my postal workers people. It's not their fault. What I'm saying,
Marco showed up to the pre-show with a 6-point PowerPoint that we would not allow him to put on the show.
We're like, we are not doing that to our postal workers.
No. I mean,
when a postal worker handles my package, I always give them the tip.
Yeah, holiday tip, just like the people like the sanitation workers and all them. They all deserve, they deserve a holiday. I'm not taking out trash, and I'm not getting in the back of a postal loading dock at 3 a.m. when it's freezing cold. I live in Michigan, man. It's cold. I'll fish there, but I'm not getting in the back of a truck, man. You deserve a raise, and I deserve to give you something for the holidays. Don't get it twisted. I do that. Like, we're good on that. I'm not knocking them. What I'm saying here is, at some point, eBay has to give us sellers a break, dude. Like, they took away the ranking system. They took away everything else. They made us move over to this crappy new system, which I understand, but you can't do the same things. And I'm not going to get into that because I'm not going to have somebody knocking on my front door asking for certain forms. But, like, they moved our systems around. So now you can't have it. You can't have your fees taken out of your PayPal account like PayPal used to do. We're not going to get into all that either. They did all this stuff. The least they could do is go like, you know what? We'll give you guys one. Your package is there. You sent out the first notification that the package is there. On average, the post office is taking 3 to 4 weeks to get your stuff there. we'll give you a 2-week buffer before we start. 10 days is not enough for this.
Well,
it's not enough.
At least from the end of November until the end of December. I mean, there should be. We all know.
Yeah, this time of year is
January.
We all know this time of year that, I mean, packages are. You see this volume in the USPS, and unfortunately, all the postal workers, they don't hire extra ones for the season, and I mean,
they didn't even. The Postal Service, because they're so backed up, they typically every year have volunteers. They send out to retirees and everything volunteers. I know personally in my area, because I know a lot of retired.
You're saying it's slow because there's old people?
No. I say old people make it even faster. I'm saying that this year they're so backed up already going into the season, they didn't even send out the volunteer list to hire volunteers because there's nothing for them to do. They're so backed up. Now that's a whole other
because of the COVID thing too.
Yeah, there's more mail going out right now. I have a buddy who's a UPS driver, and his number of packages is doubled, of what they're usually
good
delivering.
for him.
Yeah.
So
well, he's good. No, he's doing a lot of work for the same amount of pay. Like that's
I'm all.
I just thought you meant his package was bigger.
Oh,
twice as much package.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Sounds like they hired a bunch of slow ass Wookiees.
No, but it really isn't a knock on the postal people. Make sure you're taking care of them. It really is a knock on what does eBay want us like? I went on it. We'll show some books later. I went on a little bit of a dig. I only pulled out a couple books. We'll hit them up later. And I was about to go list them, and then I looked at the things and I was like, I'm done. I'm done for the year till this straightens out. It's not worth my time because I'm going to be paying out money. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to get 32 in chargebacks, and then I'm going to have to pay another $260 to pay for it when it finally gets there to pay for it to return it and insure all these things. Like, no, dude, what's the point? I might as well leave it on my desk, call it a good day, and go get drunk off eggnog, bro. Like,
do you guys tip your mail person?
I do. Yes, I tip my mail person. I tip both of them. Yes. And then I go to the local store, the local one I'm going to, and I give them gift cards. Because there's like 2 ladies that work the desk that always take my packages and like move them around, and I always send them. I give them a Christmas card, and I give them and they make fun of me because I put fat fragile all over it and then just throw it up on top of the counter. Fragile, huh?
Fat fragile.
Yeah, fat fragile.
Man, I feel attacked.
Take shots at your waistline and then make sure to mark it fragile, huh?
I was going to sell a ton of Legos in November, early December, and that's when it all started. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to wait because I don't want to deal with it.
Jedi Johnson 22 is asking, what's the new eBay pay system that I keep hearing about?
That's what I was wondering too. And you said I don't want to get into it, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, you can. I don't want to get into. Yeah, I just
is that only if you have a store or anybody that sells on eBay?
I don't want to talk.
Careful, you got to make this educational.
Never mind.
Yeah, we're not.
How about that new comic book?
You guys.
If you want to hear more, go tune into the Star Wars show tomorrow night.
Oh, we don't talk about that. Look, I'll give you a little bit into the eBay, but I'm not giving away there's certain things that I just don't want to be out there in the public realm of how finances work.
They shot down your PowerPoint. Tell them to fuck off, Marco. Be like, hey,
it was a beautiful PowerPoint too.
Well, if you watch the Star Wars show, you know that I've got 8 degrees, and one of them's in logistics. So I was trying to do that thing, and then they were like, nah, dude. They're like, listen, you're the bum that comes in here drunk and throws a bunch of packages around that says fragile. Like, how can we take you serious? And the story.
So Scott wants you to know that it's pronounced fragile.
Italian. It's Italian.
Thank you. Hey, what's going on?
Major award.
Jedi, I'll hit you up in the chat. He's one of my regulars in the IG chats.
Sure, you'll tell him, but not us.
Right. Well, no, I just.
Where are your other regulars?
Yeah, I'll tell other. Oh, we're gonna bring up one of my other regulars too in that chat because he brought in something here. We'll talk about distribution later. But let's talk. Hey, you guys want to get into it real quickly? We brought Grizz and we brought Tim on for a reason. Let's show him some love, and why do we bring him on?
Looking than us.
I want to start with Tim. Tim, thanks for coming on. Tim's been a listener of ours and on our show on Absolute Geek for a long time now. He's been off and on. He's an awesome droid maker, as you can see. And
he's got a lot of cool shit in his background.
He used to like the 3D print us shit until he got too fucking famous to fucking make shit for us. How you
Famous.
doing, Tim?
I'm doing good, guys.
So that fucking droid behind you, did you make that yourself or did you buy that from Walmart?
No, he's 3D printed.
How long did that take you to print?
Let's see. The dome, if you print it in one piece, takes about 5 days for a single print. The body is 3 rings. You can't really tell where the rings are now, but
That's how good you are, huh?
No, not really. Each ring is about 4 to 5 days to print. So that sitting right there is about a month's worth of printing.
So let me ask this: you're in the Droid Builders Club, right?
Yes.
Okay. So for those that don't know, can you explain the Droid Builders Club real quickly? Because some people might not know what that is. Just give them a brief overview.
Just tell them we build droids.
So essentially what it is started with R2 Builders Club back around 20 years ago. People wanted to build droids they saw in Star Wars movies, and up until a few years ago, everybody had to build it based off of reference photos and how we estimations from, like, you know how tall Harrison Ford is, you know how tall Mark Hamill is, so you would build your droid based off approximations from that. Eventually, it came to Lucasfilm, gave the Droid Builders Club access to a full-size R2, and they were able to measure everything on it. So there's 2 different R2 bodies. There's CSL, which is the original based off of estimations, and then there's CSR, which is this, which is actually one-to-one complete design for what is in the movies that Lucasfilm uses. And
these things are dope. I mean, obviously I go to Celebration. You guys are there. Hey, is the C3PO that's at like those events, like Celebration stuff, that's part of the Builder Club too, right? It's not just all small droids. They do some of the bigger ones too, or no? Was that just a prop?
No, generally it's any droid. I have a full-size working chopper. That's the one that I have finished.
Nice.
I'm working on a new one. And there's a bunch of different ways to build a droid. There's 3D printing, wood, styrene, aluminum, which is the most expensive. But and you can pretty much make them do anything you see them do on screen, except for fly.
Yeah, dude, they're legit. Like when they come by, I should pull some pictures because we were lucky enough to, at one of the celebrations when my kids were real young, they came off of the elevator at the same time that we were like stuck in an area, and like the C3PO droid, the R2, the girl one, the pink one, what's her name?
R2K2.
Yeah, R2K2 came by. All of them came by, and like my kids were screaming like they saw rock stars, naming them off one by one. It's for real. It's the real deal. It is the real deal, man. It's not even close to like a cosplay. It's nothing. It is legit. And then my wife's like, "Hey, we went to because they have a room there. You can go through all the stuff." And she's like, "Hey, well, you can build one of these." And I'm like, "Bro, like, no, like it's cool because they told us how much it was going to cost." And at the time they didn't have the 3D printing. And then I was like, "Yeah, but that's if you do it all right." I'm not going to do it all right the first time. I'm a guy that takes 2 or 3 times to get it right, dude. So it could get really expensive quickly. But I was talking to you earlier, Tim, and you're saying now with 3D printing, it's like, what, a quarter of the cost maybe? Less than that?
Aside from the 3D printer itself, you can build one for about $1,500 to $2,000, depending on what you want it to do.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. They told me I should work on a mouse droid. That's what they said. They're like, you should just work on a mouse droid, bro.
Mouse droid's cheap. You just buy a body and a remote control car, pretty much.
So your chopper is fully remote control.
You got to get a hold of SpaceX.
Yeah.
Yeah, get you help to work on the blasting off and landing, the flying.
Yeah, Elon won't return our call.
What is what is like a full chopper or something like that? Something that has the aluminum base and like all the insides working, all the lights going off, the spinning motion, all the different, almost like it was one of the puppets that you could go back and forth with all that. What does something like that run roughly? You don't have to give us the exact figure.
Like a ballpark aluminum droid, like a basic one that would walk, talk, and dome and lights would probably be like in the $20,000-ish range. When you start adding in utility arms and servos for doors and tow cables and saber in life scanners coming out of heads, you can get up to like $50,000 or $60,000 very quickly.
Yeah.
Come on, Trump bucks.
That's what my wife wanted me to do, is try to build a $20,000 droid.
Wow.
I'm not qualified for that.
That's what you should tell them. You're only sending us $600 for our next stimulus. That's not going to be able to be a chopper.
Yeah, come on, man. I need around 75. For what? I want to build a droid.
I'm 3D printing a droid. You know how much that shit costs?
Yeah, we gotta get that SpaceX stuff. That's really cool, though, man. And if you guys ever get a shot, make sure you check it out. Make sure you check out Tim's stuff. Tim, is there some place we can find you online and check out more of your cool stuff?
My chopper actually has a Facebook and Instagram page. It's at hr.chopper on both.
Why'd you choose Chopper?
Because he's an asshole.
Got a great personality.
Yeah, that's a perfect reason, dude. There's nothing wrong with that.
That, and when you go to a convention, everybody wants the R2, and there'll be like 1,000 R2s there, but you really don't see Chopper very often.
No, you really don't. That's really what makes the difference, too. Like, honestly, when it comes to the kids and everything like that, or the fans, when you get to see the rare ones, it was like that was what they all want to see. That's what they all want to talk about. That's really cool, man.
Plus, it's got arms that can bring you like a beer and stuff. So that automatically elevates it. I know.
Here is your beer.
Here's your beer.
Tim's like, quit giving away my secrets. That's something Chopper's got to do
I
while
don't
we're
want
in
you in a
quarantine.
chopper.
So how much does it cost to make it refrigerated inside of it?
Damn, that chopper is dope, dude.
Yeah, right. So I know you guys want. I know you guys
look it up on Instagram, and that chopper is sick.
Get in the chopper.
Get into chopper.
I know you guys want to talk about it, and that's what the whole my terrible Star Wars show. Because I was like, I'm not going to sell the whole 9 yards on it. But I know you guys want to get into the latest episode of Mando, because Kyle really liked it, and a couple people may or may not have cried. I don't understand grown people crying watching TV shows. I've said that before. I still don't understand it.
Except MASH. MASH is acceptable.
Nothing's acceptable, bro.
MASH is acceptable.
But yeah, go ahead, dig into it. Grizz, you can do a review of this. Do you guys live stream it? What do you guys do? What's your show do with your? You guys have a Mando review, right?
Yeah, we just put up midnight last night. We put up our reaction to it, so we watched it.
Did you cry? Tell me you cried so I can laugh at you.
I got a little teary-eyed. I did.
Jesus.
Here's the thing. I was okay. Before I saw it, the only thing I saw was a bunch of thumbnails of grown men crying, right? And I tried to avoid spoilers for the day, so I'm like, okay, what is this? Grown men crying at the show? Like, all right, what happens? The kid died, what happens?
On Solo Wookiee's side project website.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, what is this? And then
I did cry when Grogu's head got cut off.
Yeah, exactly, that part. I was like, oh. But no, I was like, when it was happening, I could tell. I got super excited about the one part people were crying about. I didn't cry about that. But,
you can give it away. It's fair enough. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. When Luke was out there, that's when like everybody starts like these grown men like breaking down. And I'm like, hey man, I actually saw this in the theaters, and I still didn't cry when I saw Luke. I like Luke. I thought it was amazing. I was yelling. I had to,
What type of dude? Listen, man.
Look, in the theater.
I'm just saying.
I saw him in the theater too, and I thought he was a whiny bitch then. I think he's a whiny bitch now, dude.
See, I like Luke. Luke. But yeah, when they're saying goodbye, and then he takes the helmet off, and I'm like, all right. If Pedro Pascal starts to cry, I might, because I'm like, getting emotional about the whole thing. And then when I saw that look in his face, and his eyes were tearing up, and I'm like, and then I felt kind of choked up about the whole thing. And then I'm like, okay, what am I doing?
Good.
Oh, man, I can't
gotta go talk about sports or something like that. Like,
Bring yourself back to reality. No,
something manly.
It's not about being manly.
No tears, but
it's not real.
I got choked up. I get invested in these kind of things,
If you want to take up issue with Marco calling you a little bitch for crying at Star Wars, you can send your complaints to Tales from the Flip Side. Attention, Brian McClay.
No, hey, listen. Brian will review it too. But yeah, I told him the same thing. Like I understand it. I love Star Wars. I love everything about Star Wars. I love it all. Not all for me. I get that. But dudes going on YouTube so they can get clicks because they were crying.
Yeah.
At a TV show.
Yeah. There was no tears in our reaction.
Are
I
you
saw
a
reactions that were like
12-year-old New Kids on the Block fan? That's all I'm going to say. You must love
Red-faced.
New Kids on the Block too. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
So
that's not
you
what I
knew
heard.
it was Luke, right?
I heard your first take. Just Doug was just snotting tears. And we had to reshoot.
we had to reshoot the whole thing.
Yeah.
Doug couldn't handle it. He was like, "Oh, yeah." I had to console him, and then had to refilm.
Yeah, I mean, like,
You see the first take, and Grizz is like, "Pull yourself together," and
Like,
Kristen's
Jesus,
back there
man.
Here's
yeah.
back there laughing at him.
All I
so
can
you
see is
just had to
that
redo it.
clip of that you
That's
see
what Kirsten does
all
most
the
of the times,
men,
laugh at us.
where Batman's slapping Robin and the bubble just keeps changing for every meme. Like, pull yourself together. God damn.
What are you doing?
Hey, look, they're ready, dude. This is my show tomorrow is going to turn into just steak me because they're coming for me already. They're
3
coming for me
thumbs up
already.
and 65 thumbs
His
down.
true skills. Bro, that scene, Darth Vader did it right when he was on Rogue One. That's badass. What Luke
That
did
was
was a
badass.
watered down, crying version of what Vader did. Bottom
Come
line.
on, that scene was amazing when he came through. Like everyone's waiting to see Luke at his prime, and we actually finally got it. I think.
If that's his prime, then he's a C-rate player. Because
had-
Vader did it right. Vader's flicking people up in the air,
Right.
one hand swinging. Luke is like he's got the baton stick. He's like, the B1 droids might get me.
What do you want him to do? You want him to just come in, jazz hands, and
I
go
know.
in and
I like what he's
throw
supposed to do.
lightsabers.
They already established the main guy in the
He's just
series.
the
guy who the series is named after
Jazz
Couldn't handle
hands
one
all
of
over
them.
the
Could barely
place.
handle one of them, right?
Fingers.
So,
Bro, this is all I'm saying. I got a 4-year-old, and today we were doing lightsaber battles. He
Yeah.
had a better lightsaber battle scene than Luke Skywalker did.
Oh,
man.
my goodness.
I'm more
Come on
scared of
now.
him. I'm more scared of him.
No way. No way.
So,
yeah.
What do you mean?
Luke,
No,
yeah, the
wait.
crush.
Yeah, you need a play-by-play of Vader in Rogue One and even Vader in the original, and then Luke. And I'm telling you, you'll be like, "Oh, bro, it's
No,
not
I
even."
agree.
close. It's
When
not even
Vader
close.
in Vader Rogue One, I mean, that was pretty epic. When he comes through, just starts
Yeah, it was awesome.
destroying people. But he's also very dark
He's also-
side Sith.
He's also somebody. He's also
You
somebody
know,
who's got some skills with lightsaber. Been training. Yeah,
Luke's
pretty badass.
coming in. He's going to be a badass, but he's
You're
not
right.
going to go full dark, slam him in the fucking
No, my
rub.
bad.
and
You're right. He's like
bounce him off. He's not
You're right.
Sith. He's
You're right.
still a Jedi.
Yeah, he's like the sixth. He's like the sixth, maybe seventh most popular character from the original trilogy. So you shouldn't make him that big of a badass or anything. But
Well,
yeah,
and
you're right.
he does have the coolest lightsaber ever. That's my most favorite lightsaber ever fucking made. I love that lightsaber.
Look, maybe he's just having some kind of like flashback and having some kind of breakdown because he's like, all right, well, I just got one of these green things off my back, and now I got to go train one too.
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking too. So, like, he travels across the galaxy for a long time looking for something. So, does that mean he takes Grogu with him, and then they end up on that goddamn island? And what happens on that island with them?
well, no. He goes someplace first because he opens up the training academy before that.
Remember Grogu and all the students get killed by Kylo Ren.
Yeah. Well, I don't
So-
know if Grogu's going to be
Probably not.
like Han.
Mando's gonna go save him from that
Yeah.
school.
And it wasn't everybody. Actually, technically, it wasn't everybody got killed because Kylo Ren, Knights of Ren, and Kylo Ren go back and they end up killing
Right.
about 4 of them that were trained later. So not everybody died there. He set the thing on fire though. And,
Right. Yeah.
I mean, speaking of whiny bitches, like probably have somebody train Kylo Ren. If you had Ben Solo be trained by somebody, I don't know, fucking Darth Vader or Voss who's still alive, or Cal Kasten, or somebody who wasn't just a whiny, complaining little girl, you probably would have, no offense to women, or you could have had a woman train them. You could have had a dark woman train them. You could have had a
I
dark
already
woman.
offended all
That
of
was a
you, but
nice
let me
save.
just walk that
That
back
was a
real
nice
quick.
save.
Please send all hate mail
Right at the end
to
there.
Brian McClay.
Oh. Hey, I think Nico needs to. Did you guys go on to the IG, hit him up, tell him how I'm bearing it, and they need to fire me? Listen, here's the
Or at
thing.
least go on administrative leave.
Yeah, I can go on administrative. Yes. Here's the thing. You could have had so many people train Ben Solo that were tougher, and then maybe he wouldn't have been just such a whiny little crybaby and killed the greatest of all. By the way, terrible job JJ did on it too. The greatest of all time character out of Star Wars, Han Solo. Tim, what is your opinion on that?
On which part?
Which part of that crazy tirade do you want me to speak on?
We set you up, and you just fucking just
You nailed it.
I don't know which part to comment on. It's
What did
I
you
mean-
think of the episode?
I thought it was really good. There was a ton of other people that I would have rather have seen show up aside from Luke.
Yeah.
The entire as soon as I seen the X-wing, I knew it was Luke, and I was like, no, please don't be. But I do think they did him justice. JJ left the door open for Luke, and then Rian Johnson ruined it. So they actually gave us some of the Luke that we wanted to see in the newer movies. So
we didn't deserve.
Yeah,
and I agree, Tim, totally. They could, and I think Eric in the chat said it too. And the point that I think we're all making is, yeah, it was not the most epic Luke like we all wanted and expected, but it is still the best Luke that we've seen so far. You know, of his.
Kind of looked like he just went through. You could tell he had an agenda and he was ready to fuck some shit up, and he had a purpose, and that's what. And he walked through like he had one. I think that's kind of what it.
I think you're all missing the best part of this episode. Is that it solidified the conversation that Dante and Randall have in Clerks regarding regarding the maintenance people on the Death Star.
That's probably the best.
Is that kind of what you were saying, Tim?
Which part again? You're getting me again.
As far as it being, it may not be like we all know that Luke is more of a badass than that, but that is what we've seen so far. Like that's the best we've seen of badass Luke so far.
It is because his face off with Vader and Palpatine in the Jedi wasn't that great of a lightsaber battle. Honestly, it was a great scene with building. You're building tension and it goes on, but in the history of lightsaber battles, it wasn't epic as some others have been.
Okay.
But I really wanted to see.
All right, I can feel Marco building up. He's prepping. You ready, Tim?
Show up. Ezra Bridger, because they've already mentioned Thrawn. That would have been nice because then you're not trampling on what you've already set out there. Now there's going to have to be retconning done somehow.
Yep.
And there was no real point to do it other than they just wanted to. But at the same time, I'm not scared of where Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are going to take us.
Okay, a couple things. One, if they were going to do Luke and they're going to do a terrible CG, I would love to see it in the Rogue Squadron thing that they're going to come out with. How cool would it be if Luke came up in one of the X-Wings and said, Red Leader, he goes, it's Red Leader, and came out. Like, that's how you use Luke in a thing. Number two, he's never in the history, even the stuff they retconned before, has ever been a badass. He's not a badass. He's somebody who makes out with his sister. Never once been a badass. Number three.
That's why we want badass Luke.
Number three, if doing a bad impression of what your dad did, a really good impression, makes you a badass, then I'm sorry, dude. That's never gonna get it for me. And I'm right with Tim though. I would have rather seen more. I would have had Ahsoka come back even. Or better yet, had Sabine Wren come in. And all of a sudden, Mando's getting pounded, loses the Darksaber. Sabine Wren picks it up because she knows how to use it because she's been trained by a Jedi. Unlike Luke, who cried his way because his friends were being hurt and left and never got trained by a Jedi. But she's been trained how to use the lightsaber before she could come with the Darksaber and start cutting people up. Or Voss, who we all know, Dave loves, and has been around and is a cool character. And we could have had come out. There's so many great possibilities of true badass characters
I agree.
In the current canon that they could have used.
There's no one I'd rather have shown up there than Luke Skywalker.
He killed a Rancor by an accident. By accident.
By accident?
Yeah.
I thought that they're
fair enough.
Just exactly what Tim was saying is they're gonna have to go back and retcon so much shit now. They just made it more difficult for themselves,
which is annoying.
What are they gonna have to retcon?
Play out now. That's what I want to know too.
Yeah, what
are they gonna have to retcon?
Yeah, what has to retcon?
Well, one that he's a badass. He's never been a badass. He's not.
He's the badass.
Just a sister kisser.
Yeah. No, they're not really gonna have to do much of the retconning in the end because you can easily explain that the time period. The only thing they're going to have to cut is there was a portion where they did explain both in the comics and in the novel that during this period he was out looking at temples and he wasn't training, that he refused to train any Jedi.
Did he have to have a real estate agent for that?
He refused to train any Jedi till Kylo Ren.
He's out there flipping temples instead of training new Jedi.
Remax, I'm looking for a temple. Can you help a feller out?
They're pitching his HGTV television series.
Yeah. How long was he doing that? It's been 5 years. I mean,
no. Yeah, he was supposed to. Well, he's supposed to do it because there was a book right around this time that came out, and right when he starts training Kylo Ren, they explain that he refused to train any Jedis up to a point of Kylo Ren, and finally Leia said, "Please take this whiny, complaining thing because you are a whiny, complaining little thing too, and you guys will get along well."
God.
And the book was called "Modern Decor for the Modern Jedi."
And then he agreed. He's like, "Yeah, I guess it's time." For the last 10 years, which they're referring to since Return of the Jedi, I haven't actually trained anybody. So, or was it 20 years, whatever it was. So there's those small little portions they're gonna have to do. Also, too, just a couple little things where he showed up places that they have time lined out that they're gonna have to. But people don't read all the stuff. This is really for the fan that's not the.
Temple Hunters on HGTV.
Nice.
On the next flip or flop.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I like that people listen. All that being said, besides grown men getting on YouTube to try to get clicks because they're crying or putting onions in their eyes or whatever.
That's what you should have did at Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was gonna say, hey, they got the clicks. I mean,
No,
like it or not, they got the clicks.
No, but besides that, I don't have to like it. But besides that, I don't have a problem kind of what they did. It's not something where I'm like, look, dude, the best part of that episode was the after scenes. They pulled the Marvel, right? They pulled the Marvel with putting the Iron Man, the Legion Army down there, but they did the post-credit scene, and that, we've been talking about 1313 for a while. We've been talking about what that entails, and all of a sudden they dropped the Boba Fett taking over the underworld. Yeah, bro.
So who did Boba Fett shoot? To the guy who's not a big Star
let
Wars
you save that for your Star Wars.
Ben Fortuna.
Ben Fortuna, yeah.
He was in Return of the Jedi.
Oh,
Wanga. He was Jabba's guy that spoke for him, basically.
Oh, that's okay. I know you're talking
So
about
there were rumors at the beginning or earlier this summer about Disney trying to retcon or move away and make you forget about the sequel series. Do you think this is that?
No,
right here, them trying to do that.
I think that's the exact same thing where people were saying that what's his name was mad that he didn't get to take off his mask in season 2 and that he's sick because he wants people to see his face, and then season 2 his face is all over the place, and they obviously couldn't have reshot that because they didn't have time. They didn't reshoot anything. You could tell by how some of this season's done. There was no reshoots. So no, I think that's just. I mean, look, man. If you could have just taken J.J. Abrams, I'm not a big fan of him. Period. So
would you say
anything
he's
he's ever done?
I didn't watch. I was a fan because I heard that he blew up Star Trek planet and made everybody mad over the Trekkies mad. So I was happy with him then. Never watched it, but was very happy about that. And that would probably be the only thing I was happy about until he came over and he took a big old dump on Star Wars. So no.
Like that South Park episode.
Again, that hate mail will be seen.
I was going to say, wow. All right.
I thought this was kind of. Hey, I thought this was mayhem. Are we mayheming or are we being?
I'll be like, what the fuck did you guys say last night on the
Fallout from tonight's show will be tomorrow at.
I got 20 viewers on my show, and half of them are under the age of 10. I don't do this on my show. This is the show to do it on. And speaking of that, make sure you still watch our review because after that, I will play Santa. We have a special guest too. We will be giving away some stuff, so make sure you turn in. Thank you. First off, thank you very much to the CBSI guys, John Z and Ben C, because they are moving up an hour to do their show. So we won't be going off. We're kind of taking over the 9:15, 9:30 slot, which is typically theirs. So big shout out to them. Make sure you watch Vintage Voyage first on this channel and then come over and see us. Remember, kids watch that show, so please don't. I mean, if you want to roast me now. Don't roast me then because, we're going to have a holiday special over there tomorrow.
If you're going to let the F-bombs fly, now is your time.
That's your last Mando review until a year from now, so you can't tell people to roast you now. You got to let someone send you off with an epic bang.
There literally is kids. We shout out kids all the time in the show, 7-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
They have a birthday. I can't be swearing while we got this.
I want to fucking shout out this 5-year-old.
Haven't you ever played Call of Duty? Have those 7-year-olds be more vulgar than anyone on that show.
Luke's a whiny little fucking bitch. Yeah. Live watchers go to 0 in a second.
They're telling you what they're doing to your mom right there.
Mommy, Marco said I'm the fucking shit.
Yeah, I didn't realize that when I first started watching the show because I was I rolled into the comments section like I normally do, and then then you start like saying, "Yeah, exactly," and then you start like shouting at little like kids, and I'm like, "Oh, well, ooh, okay."
Yeah, we get a lot of family watches on that show.
That's kind of.
Yeah, we have to edit the chat sometimes because we get some interesting ones in there, which is fine. No, no worries, bro. No worries.
You just need to have a scroll bar across the bottom that says this is a family show.
This is a family show. Yeah.
It didn't start out that way, but like I said, I'll take whatever I can get. Yeah, we do get to do those reviews. I don't know what we're going to do with it or what day. We're going to try to set the schedule. We probably will do a double. We're also in between. I think we might do, and Grizz, if you want to do this with us, I think we're going to re-review because a lot of people haven't seen Clone Wars or Rebels.
That's a shame.
So I think we're going to review some of the top things they want to do because Jen's really down with that, and
I'm always willing to talk Star Wars. So
I want you to do Bad Batch, and I need your thumbnails to be Solo Wookiee crying over a plate of burnt stormtrooper cookies.
By the way, since he's not here, Solo Wookiee was the first one to send me a picture of him crying during that episode.
Was he really? I bet.
Bro,
he's all teary-eyed with snot coming out of his nose.
The guy has knocked every single. He's given like ones across the board because we rank it on. Like, there's a line we rank it.
I was shocked by how low he ranked some of those shows.
He ranks a ton of the show. He just chews up and spits out every single show. This show, he was crying. Check out our ranks. It was, by the way, spoiler alert, that episode did not play for an hour and 15, and I'm kind of glad it didn't, because if you've been watching our show, you already know what I'm going to rank it. So I just can't get killed for that because I told you.
You sister kisser.
I'm not going to say that either. Well, all right.
Make out with someone else's sister, not your own.
Yes, everyone tune in to Tales from the Dark Side tomorrow night for that
all 8 of you.
Special review. Yes.
Thank you.
All ages show.
All ages show.
This is an all ages show too.
We're gonna show some
pictures. Like, see you guys turning away kids either.
Part of our
educational
special is like we're showing kids of ours like up on the screen. So like, yeah, just remember we're gonna be doing some of that. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the plug. Hey, what do we got in comic news? Do we got anything in comic news, Matt?
We do, but I was gonna kind of let Grizz come on and talk about his stuff. And so on this show, we're trying to give you a little bit of mixed. I know you come here for the comic book news and the speculation, but there's so much more to this hobby that you can invest in and try to make money. So Grizz is big into Warhammer and figures, and we brought him in. He's a good friend of ours from when we were doing Absolute Geek, and he does another great podcast on Friday nights called the Grizzled Geek, 7 o'clock or no, 6 o'clock.
6
PM.
o'clock. Yep.
Live on YouTube. Great show that goes over all the news and stuff that's popping in the industry, and check them out there. But like I said, he's big into Warhammer and miniature, so we thought we'd bring him over to kind of talk about that and find out a little bit about that realm and what the investment opportunity is there. I'll go ahead and let you take it away.
Thanks, guys. I was going to complain about the cost of my hobby until you brought Tim on over here. Then I'm like, oh man, I can't compete with that. It's a crazy costing hobby. But I do. I collect. I play Warhammer. I collect basically it's toy soldiers for adults. Every time people are asking me like, "What is this?" It's toy soldiers for adults. Little toy soldiers. Never grew out of it. It's kind of an expensive hobby, so I brought some images here to show you what it's like to get into a hobby like this. I know you guys do a lot about flipping comics and stuff like that. This is a very expensive hobby. The miniatures are very expensive, but it is pretty lucrative as far if you're a good painting, like putting these things together, painting them and flipping them. That's what a lot of people do for a living is paint other people's miniatures for them, because it's a big part of it. Because they come, I mean, your miniatures you buy come like this. They're just a plastic sprue, unpainted. You got to put them together, paint everything, and if you're a quick painter, you can make a decent amount of money doing this. Plus, I make some money on this. Basically, I used to work for Games Workshop, the big company that does all these. I worked for them about 5 years. In that time, I collected a whole bunch of stuff. So I have a garage full of like special edition miniatures and stuff like that. So every once in a while, I'll go out there and sell a few of those off.
So do you know going into it, is it kind of like comics where it kind of, if you do a lot of research and stuff, you can figure out, what are the big hits and, if you really, but like How does it with these miniatures? So, like,
With these miniatures, it's all about.
You play with them. You play with them, right?
I do. Yep.
In the
Give them
bathtub.
voices and stuff?
In the bathtub, in the sandbox.
Wait, was it like? I'm sorry. Can I ask? This is beyond me, so I like to learn. Like this is beyond me. Before we get to that question, so do you have any that are built so we can see what this looks like?
I do have a couple here. I was going to show you. I can share the screen here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Show you what. Okay, so this was a limited edition box set that came out this last summer. It's called the Indominus box set. Just like with Games Workshop, they're the biggest company. They have two different. They have like a futuristic one, which is 40K, is the most popular one. It has Space Marines and all this stuff like that. That's what this is. And then they have like a fantasy one. But this one, they just came up with a brand new edition of 40K this last summer. This was the basically limited edition box set, which is a ton of stuff. This thing retailed for about $200, and it was limited edition. So it was really big. I actually, Doug ended up flipping two of these. I got one for. I ended up flipping about. Flipped two of them. One of them I kind of parted out. But because they were $200, but these things were going for about $500 right after, because it was a limited edition, right? So you get them, you buy them, you flip them, and then the sad part is we didn't know this at the time, or otherwise I wouldn't have been flipping them like this. But they came out with this because it was so popular. This Christmas, like last month, they came out with they were unlimited. They didn't come with the cool. Like, they weren't in a box, but you could buy all the sprues and everything that came in this box set.
What is a sprue?
Sprue is... I'm glad you asked. Sprue is how they come. A sprue is basically...
Oh, you mean that's where you have to cut them out of the mold.
Yeah, this is what the box, how it comes in the
like
box.
a model.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Like, this one here. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, this is how they come. Unpainted, unassembled. You just got to, clip them out and put them together and paint them up. But yeah, just to give you an idea what's in this box set. This is just one faction in here. People keep asking me, what does it cost to get into a hobby like this? What does it cost for an army? Like, normally, you play with points. They point buy for these things. Usually play with about 2,000 points. In this box set, you got about 1,000 points, about half an army out of this box set. So
they got to buy two of these $200 box sets?
Yeah, this box set didn't have any...
For $500, so it's $300 a piece?
Well, these things are the box set didn't come with any vehicles, no tanks or anything like that, no aircraft, so it's all just figures, a couple bikes.
Fuck you,
Yeah, so you're talking about the average. When people ask me what it costs, the average 40K army, if you start with nothing, is going to run you about $815, and the average fantasy one is going to be $835.
So that's
on
not
average.
Buying paint,
Trump bucks.
Yeah. Brushes, Brian. I mean, that's just for the.
That's just for
That's just to get started. Just to get started.
And that's if you get them in the limited edition in retail too. Like if you're flipping these, they're costing you. It's over double because if you bought one for $200 and you're selling it for $500, that's not painting them. That's not clipping them out. You just took the box.
They took the box and flipped it. Yeah,
they flipped it for $300.
But if you can paint, if you can take a look, if you can turn out a figure that looks like this is where the money is, right? Because then
where the money is, you just got $300 for.
That's true. For limited edition
without doing any work.
Yeah, without doing any work, you got If you get in on the limited edition stuff, and they usually come out with limited edition sets, like the stuff I sell were limited edition figures that came out for their games day that they had, the big convention they get together, and so I'd sell out the individual miniatures, and so I acquired a bunch of them. But I mean they have. Let's see here. That was the limited edition starter set. They actually have.
Wait. What's these painted figures go for?
The painted figures? Well, let's see here.
Yeah.
If you're good at it.
All right, so this is what the current box set starter set is. This thing retails for $165, and it has a fraction of the miniatures that the other one did. Right? It has the 3 bikes and then 5 guys and a captain. So for the one side, so it's a very limited edition. It comes with a little cardboard building and a mat and stuff to play with. But this thing retails for $165. So you can see the limited edition one was a really good deal. But what can you get to okay, here's an idea right here. Here's a couple that are going painted.
$438 for one fucking figure painted?
Yep.
I'm in the wrong business.
Yep, I'm gonna learn how to paint.
Grizz.
Here's one of the best. Yeah.
Show him a Titan Warlord.
Titan Warlord? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an idea. Like, all right. So
Tim, you do this too? You guys, you know about this?
No, but I have people asking me to 3D print miniatures because they don't want to buy them.
yeah, because they're expensive as hell. All right. So
Like the Titan Warlord.
I want to point out one of these figures here. This giant that's right here in the middle. This is their new latest big figure, right? I've got one like right here put
So it's
together.
a miniature big figure.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
giant. You see how big it is.
I got three little kids. I'm teaching them how to paint. We're going. This is
Yeah.
Yeah. I can,
So this figure.
I'm a damn good painter.
So, but the thing is, the pricing is based on how it's used in the game, not the size of the model, right? And this is an example of that. So, this one here, this figure in the middle, this giant in the middle here, this big thing is their new big thing. It's $200 for this model. This one model right here. This is what the standard size model is. This little guy down here, 32 mil. This thing here is $200. This giant dragon, this Archeon on a giant dragon here, is one of the biggest miniatures in the game. It's $30 less than this. This Knight Titan right here is $50 less
which
than
one that
this.
is. The Night Titan is okay. It goes like a dragon, a small little guy, an ogre,
giant,
a
yeah.
robot
This is
with
standard.
guns.
Yeah, this is standard size giant here. Just showing a size comparison here, but to
Yeah,
show you
I'm
what the
JJ. I don't play.
Yeah.
Nobody lives here for free, bro. It ain't cheap.
it's not cheap. This is not a cheap.
No, it ain't cheap to live in my house. Is what I'm
Oh,
saying.
I gotta say, you gotta put your kids to work. That's right. I tell you what, I got.
No, I'm sorry. No, go with that. Don't. Let's go back to that. I want.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah,
just explaining what it is. So there's a dragon here on the left, really tall figure. Real small figure is like a little ogre. Then a medium size, and then is the Titan the
yeah, this
the
40K
mech
one.
type thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a Knight Titan. It's like smaller than Tim's talking about. It's a bigger Titan. It's probably about the size of this one here. They're like really expensive. But this one, as far as the pricing goes, the most expensive figure on here is this new one right here. This is $30 cheaper than that. This one's $50 cheaper than that.
Can't see that. You gotta.
Oh, sorry. So the dragon,
Uh-huh.
it's about $170.
Okay.
Then the little guy, they come in like a squad.
Now, 170 that's painted or unpainted?
That's unpainted. These are all in sprues in a box.
Okay, so
Yep, unpainted.
you assemble, you buy one, $170. You assemble this thing and you paint it just super ultra detail and get it all perfect.
Yep.
Then what do you sell that dragon for?
$1 million.
For that one, $500. If for a model that size, depending on the quality of the paint job, right? If you're really good at painting it,
Sure.
you spin that
How good
around.
are you at painting?
Dude, I used to take and frickin' make homemade
We don't care
spark
about
plug
you
wires
coloring outside of the
on my model when I was doing cars. I would take string and mold it, and you can. There's a trick you can do with glue and stuff, and make plug wires on the models. That's how much I got into detail.
Here's a couple that I painted myself. These are tanks, a little tank and a drone for the game.
Invite to Raid wants to know how often do they release expansions? Do players have to invest in said expansion figures to keep up with the meta or peak power?
Yeah, yes. Yes, they do. Basically, the way it works, you have to
Hold
invest.
on, we got to answer what meta. Okay, so meta. You got to explain what meta is because some people might not know that.
Okay, so there's a storyline. It's called 40K because it's in the year 40,000, right? So it's way in the future. And they think this started in the 90s and kept going, and a story continues forward, right? So there's always, in fact, it should probably be like 50K by now because it's been, but yeah, it's the story continues, and as the story continues, the rules get updated. New armies come out, new armies get changed, old armies get changed. The new set of rules comes out about every 5 years. So every 5 years, the game will get updated, a new version. This is version 9, I think, 8 or 9, that just came out this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then your individual codex, which is basically your army book, which has all the points for all your guys and all their stats in the game and everything else, that gets updated every so often, usually 3 to 5 years. So if you want to get into this game the base to play before you buy a single miniature, you're in $100 because the basic rules are $60 and your army codex, your book, is $40. Mm-hmm. So that's $100 before you even got a miniature.
Yeah,
on the board, just to know how to play.
So with the metas though, meta is pretty much like in video games. Like a meta is like when they change it, a new download comes for guns or for a character or something like that. They take somebody who's weak and they end up making them very powerful. So like it's just kind of like Pokemon cards. Like some of those Pokemon cards that didn't seem like they were so good, now all of a sudden because they created cards that have different values and everything, those cheaper cards or whatever become very powerful. And that's how the meta works here. So it's always evolving. So some of these characters, that's what I think Raid's question is like, how easy is it now to like in the expansion pack? Are those all new metas that are coming out, or is it mixed, or like is it worth holding on to some of this stuff? And then
no, it's worth holding on to it because they'll have new miniatures and stuff like that for the for like the Space Marines is the most popular army, right? So and there's different chapters, they can paint them different colors. But for instance, these new bikes they're called Primaris. They're bigger, right? They're bulkier bikes. The old bikes are still good. They're still in the game. You can still use them, but the new stuff is better, right? So
you can use old figures, but you're pretty much going to get your shit demolished.
Yeah,
you don't stand a chance.
It depends because there are still point values, so the points of those old ones drop, so you could have a lot more of them, right? So it really depends. There's different strategies. Just because you have an old army doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad because the rules get updated, and the rules get updated for the current figures you have too. So, like, for instance, I'm playing Plague Marines, which is like a evil Marine guys. So, them have a new codex coming out next month in January, right? But, so all the stats changed on all my guys, but the figures didn't change. There's a couple new ones that come out, but my army is still there. It's still intact. It just has new rules for some of the stuff.
So what happens if one of your things dies, you got to throw it in the fucking garbage?
Yep, you smash it with a hammer and then go buy and paint another one.
That's why it's called Warhammer, right?
That's right, exactly. But I was going to show you like some of the pricing on this doesn't necessarily. So for
is that part of playing the game? You get to smash your opponent's figure. You just get to
you ante a figure in the middle before the game, and then you win. You get it and smash it.
I spent like 27 hours painting it, and then some asshole 14-year-old kid smashes it.
You carry a little map gas torch, and you're like,
exactly,
bitch, and you just melt the figure down.
JJ Maxwell, you had a question there about counterfeiting. Is it a problem? It depends, because there's a lot of people do 3D print this stuff, and there was a small company that did like shoulder pads for Marines, right, and did doors for the tanks with different symbols on them, so you could do your own stuff. And they got sued by Games Workshop, and it was a Chapter House Studios was the name of it, and they had a big lawsuit, and it ended up going badly for Games Workshop, which is why third-party people can actually do accessories for this stuff here. But as far as 3D printing actual models, the different ones, or counterfeiting these, you can't play in official tournaments without Games Workshop product. So there are people that proxy models in to play like just friendly games or whatever, but as far as going to like a tournament or something like that, you need to have the actual stuff.
So this isn't something that just like in comic books we have Wednesday Warriors. They just come through and they buy up and they flip. So you don't see that a lot in this.
No, usually this is that. Yeah, not usually. People get involved. They get involved in the storyline. And that's why they have these armies, painting them the different colors, right? All these going to one of these conventions is actually pretty exciting because you can actually see like all the armies on display, and people like as long as they're using the models, they model them up. They add extra bits, or they use like this called green stuff is like a molding clay, and they make extra like arms or whatever. They just really make it unique, the models. But I was going to give you an example. Like, for instance, this squad of like guys here is like $54, right? Just to get an idea of like some of the pricing on this. But they're like regular guys. That's
unpainted, $54.
Unpainted.
Okay.
But these three guys here are $100. They're on horses, but can you see the difference? The reason why they're priced based on how well they are in the game, not how much plastic is or how much details on the plastic.
Can you find out before they're released how powerful these characters are going to be, or how popular maybe?
Yeah, they'll usually have like data cards that they preview out beforehand, so you can speculate what how popular these are going to be. But they do limited edition stuff all the time, and those are the things that you can flip without really.
So that's pretty much like gambling, right? Like I mean, I don't know how fast does the limited edition stuff usually sell out?
Limited edition stuff sells out pretty quick. Like this Indominus box came out this summer. They had a 2-week window to pre-order it.
Mm-hmm. That's actually, you know what? For the industry now, for all the other stuff, if you're flipping, 2 weeks is a millennium. I mean, like some of the stuff now, you guys know how it is. Black figures. If you get Black Series, you've got like 10.
Why gotta be Black figures? But
Black Series. Sorry. If you got like maybe 10 minutes to get your pre-orders in. A lot of the top figures are gone. If you're trying to get some of these exclusives, you don't have. There's not 2 weeks anymore.
Well, it's 2 weeks. When I say 2 weeks, but you really didn't have it because Games Workshop web stores sold out of theirs in 42 hours, something like that. They sold out of theirs. And then the game stores, the stores that they get these, only had a limited amount, right? So like the local game store, Imperial Outpost that I go to, they got 50 of them in, right? And so they had to go in there and you had to pre-buy it and get on a list to get it. So
is there places here like, okay, for the most part, 4 of us squares, we live in Arizona.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of places to go? Is it like Jesse James? You walk into Jesse James,
yeah,
and on certain nights, half of his store is tables of kids playing Pokemon and
right.
Is there a lot of stores that are just dedicated to this?
Phoenix actually has a pretty strong gaming community. There's a store way out on the west side. There's Imperial Outpost, which is in Glendale. Then they have Game Depot in Tempe is a really big store, and they have 2 others out in Mesa. Plus, Tucson has a big group. And the thing is, when I have these tournaments, they have tournaments at local game stores, right? So it's not like a big one you go out to. Everybody from Tucson comes up here to play. So there's a big community here that plays. And once in a
while, Mr. E will get stuff.
Yeah. The thing is, if you're a game store, you sell Games Workshop stuff, right? That is pretty much like selling soda without Coke and Pepsi, right? 80 cents of every dollar spent on miniatures is spent on Games Workshop miniatures. So
I'm just thinking too, because now, is there a place we can find a list of some of these more? Because, like, look, man, I go everywhere, and we'll talk about later when I do my pickups. And some of the places are game shops first and comic book stores second. You see a lot, like, if you're going to go hunting now, you have to go to those places. And I'm thinking, like, man, if somebody just put a list together, I'm willing to bet I can stumble onto something here or something there.
That's what I was thinking too. And if they put it out ahead of time, you could be ahead of the curve, and
I don't know if there's a store in Youngtown. I'm not sure about that one.
You could probably start picking stuff up ahead, you know what I mean, and putting yourself on the list quicker. And I'm assuming it's easy to flip these exclusives.
What a lot of people do if they're looking at flipping some of this stuff and painting some of these things, or like flipping, if they have like older models and stuff like that, look at what the new codex that's coming out is. Like, for instance, Death Guard, the one I play, is coming out next month, right? So a lot of those old miniatures that are still good, and you look at the stat sheets and you're like, okay, so this miniature that wasn't that good in the old edition is now got a boost in this new edition. So that's going to go for quite a bit. So you can, that's the one you want to paint up and try and flip, because it'll go for more because it's going to be wanted in the new edition.
Even if look, I can't paint for anything. So even if you can't paint, that still seems like a good deal. Hey, we got a question for Tim. Jedi Johnson, one of our big fans down there in Hawaii, just wants to shout you out real quickly. Says, does 3D printing use a lot of electricity? Looks like you're in a garage. Are they loud? Well, yeah, I think he builds big droids too, though. Right? Go ahead. Sorry, Tim.
Yeah, they're loud. He's trying to podcast with us. I don't mean to interrupt and get ahead of it, but he's podcasted while he's 3D printing, and that's all you hear is.
So they don't use a lot of electricity, no. And you get what you pay for. So the ones I have are cheaper models. They're a little bit louder. You can make some modifications to them and make them quieter. I have one that's on loan from a foundation that I'm building a droid for. It's like a $7,000 printer. You don't even really hear it run. The ones I have in the house that are like $400, yes, you hear them whine while they're working. So they're not too loud to have in a house, but it depends on how sensitive you are to noise, I guess.
It becomes a real art form to do the 3D printing. Like, how many times do you you said, like, part of that droid is, it takes 5 days to make. How many times on hour 49 you're like, fuck, it's wasted, you got to start again? Or how long did it take to work out those kinks so you don't run into that anymore?
It's just things you learn to watch out for, just like making sure you have enough filament on a spool, or making sure you have enough resin in a tank. The biggest pain in the ass, or the biggest disappointment you can have is like getting to hour 49 of a 50-hour print and running out of material. And the machine doesn't care when it runs out of material. It just keeps going because it doesn't know it's out. So pretty much you just lost that, unless you want to try to print what's left and put it together. It's just little small nuances. Once you get the machine dialed in and you get comfortable with it, it's not that big a deal. You don't run into as many failures unless you have a machine error, like a motor or something on a machine fail.
You don't have to like rebuild it every time you make something.
You need to do maintenance for hours printed, but you don't have to rebuild everything. No. Just tightening up some stuff and checking belt tensions and whatnot, re-zeroing, making sure your bed's level.
Wow, you make it sound so much fun.
No, they're sensitive to vibration, if I'm not mistaken. When I worked at a certain computer company in Fort Collins, I couldn't do the generator testing once a month because they had several 3D printers on the other side, and the vibration from the generator motor, because it was very large, would vibrate and jack up their printers.
It depends on the printer. More susceptible to temperature change and drafts, because the heated bed and your material you're heating up when you extrude it. So if you get like, for example, like if it's by an air conditioner vent and the air conditioner cuts on and it starts blowing cold air on it, your material could start to contract at different rates and just kind of separate itself from a bed and curl up, which is going to make you have a bad day.
No whammy.
No whammy, no whammy.
Yeah, I do 3D printing resin miniatures, like the little miniatures, right? I can't imagine doing something that big on that scale and have it mess up, because...
Hey, I mean, like, this is 3D printed.
Yeah.
So, and then Babu here is 3D printed and painted. But Babu here is like 1-to-1 scale to Babu from the movie, supposedly. And that's like 40 hours to print that dude right there.
Bring it closer so we can see it. Oh, nice.
All one piece. No.
Are you painting those with just a regular acrylic, or are you using airbrush, or both, or what's your magic?
He was just acrylic paints like you use on miniatures and stuff. Just hand painted with a brush, tiny brushes.
Can we have a contest, and whoever wins the contest, you're going to make them a miniature to paint?
Well, miniature of what? I mean, what do we?
A miniature.
Want to do?
A working droid. I want a working droid, not miniature. Just real life working
aluminum.
Droid. Yeah, aluminum. Full on.
Oh.
Can you whip that up real quick? Like,
I got a couple of to spend. I'm getting returned a bunch of books, so have it.
Tim says
we
no.
sure can.
Hey, Mike, I got a question for you. It kind of came up in the chat, a couple people, but like, is there a way? Can people hunt for those things at other places besides like hobby shops, where can you find this stuff? Like, let's not just say like a gaming store. Can we go to like a chain place and find some of these? Can we go to a hobby shop and find some of these? Can we go other places and find some of these?
You never used to, because Games Workshop wouldn't put it into big box stores because they would lose they devalue it. Their big thing is the reason why they're so expensive is because They're like high quality, so they're for, you know, the best in the industry. So you're going to pay more for the premium product. However, recently they have been putting those starter sets in like some of the bigger box stores. I know Walmart got some of the smaller starter sets, not the big ones, but they got some smaller. But that was it. They don't have any of the other miniatures other than just a starter sets.
They're doing smaller ones to get kids hooked.
They get kids hooked, and then they go over.
Gateway drug.
There are. When I was with Games Workshop, they sold to mostly game stores were the main one, right? But then they also sold to like hobby stores. They got into like some model train stores. They got into some toy, like mom and pop toy stores that weren't like chain toy stores. But other than that, it's kind of exclusive. You're not going to see this at Target or.
Well, in a lot of the comic shops and hobby and game store type situations, a lot of them have really gone to online. I think Griffin Comics in Fort Collins, Colorado, I think they're online and you can buy some of them through there as well as in their store, and they did a ton.
Right. And Games Workshop has stores in most towns. Like they have one here in Mesa, where they're pretty much like small little stores, but all it sells is Games Workshop stuff. So it's all this stuff, all the paints and all the hobby supply stuff you need, terrain, and then all the miniatures you need right there.
You too, for $1,000, can just get started in this wonderful hobby.
Yes.
For the low price of 3 easy installments.
Yeah.
$199.99, $95.
When I saw the average for an army was $815, I'm like, really, what army is that? That's got to be a basic run of the mill, basic army with not a whole lot of
scoffing at $800.
I'm like, and then I'm sitting there going like, yeah, this is an expensive hobby. And then I realized I have 9 armies. So
there's no real like set paint scheme. Like you can kind of pick and choose like, oh, I want a green army, so you can do a green army, or I want a blue army.
Oh, there's no color.
So if you show up, you got to have like 3 different colors of armies in case if you can't show up with a green army if you're going to play a green army, right? You got to bust out your red army.
Well, no. Here's the thing: is they have like, for instance, like the Space Marines, which are the most popular. There are different chapters, and like Ultramarine chapters are Ultramarine blue, right? But you can play. You don't have to play that chapter of Space Marines. You can make up your own, paint it however you want it, whatever color. You can have like Rainbow Marines, whatever you want,
okay. Sure.
And then. And the rules are still the same. So you can make your army. That's why a lot of people like modeling the army. That's a big part of it for them. A lot of people buy these, paint the miniatures, model them up, and don't even play. They just like the miniatures. Like they have like the hobby aspect of it.
God, I just want to pay
my brother-in-law does
them now.
I mean, it's the same as I buy covers because I buy comic covers because of a certain artist, or I just like the cover.
Yep. Exactly, just like that.
I remember the first time I cracked open Access and Allies after playing Risk all those years, and I was like, "They're so detailed, man! Look at this game; it's awesome."
Plus, it's an amazing game. So,
well, and 12 hours later, I was maybe possibly inebriated and high, and I was like, "Best game ever."
That's right.
Fucking love this game.
But I mean, that literally was a big selling point of the game for me, was because, your artillery guns look like artillery guns, and your troops look like troops, and you didn't have like just a little V, a Roman numeral for Risk.
So I tell people, this is like playing Risk, only with really awesome miniatures instead of plastic little Vs.
And a little larger and a little more in depth.
Yep, exactly.
It's expensive.
Wow,
well, that was
cool.
awesome, huh? So there's the potential to actually make money.
Yeah,
in that.
There is.
What's the most expensive figure in the set?
Well, this $200 giant's pretty expensive, but probably those Titans that Tim was talking about, the Warlord Titans, they're pretty expensive.
And
so, what would that $200 giant go for painted up? What could you sell that for?
We just saw there was a couple of them going for $500.
Okay,
like close to.
Those are the same thing. Okay.
Yep.
So, do people try and collect?
So here's a Warlord
original figures.
Yes, they do.
Are
And then the
they,
old-
do they kind of become more valuable because they're harder to find?
Yeah,
Just like
some of them.
comics, right?
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
if you
just like-
smash them after you lose.
Back in the day, they were all metal. All the miniatures were pewter, right? So,
right. I remember those.
So those old miniatures, some of them are really good, really collectible, right? So it depends. But yeah, to answer Matt's question here, there's a painted Titan. Actually, the Knight. He's not even a full Titan. The Knight Titan for $400 on right now. That's going. But usually for a full Warlord Titan, it's gonna run couple $100. It's going to be like, well, it's what, $400 to buy from Forge World because it's a giant resin model. And Forge World is their resin side, so you have to special order that stuff. It's not the stuff that you buy on a shelf at a store. And it's about $400, and then you could flip one of those around depending on the quality of the paint job. I've seen them go for double that, $800, sometimes up to $1,000, depending on how nice the Titan looks. But that's a giant, like, mech type thing.
I'm changing jobs. Fuck comic books.
That's cool. Well, hey, let's not do that yet because as usual, I'm out hunting. I don't like to tell the week that I went hunting. Hey, Grizz, dude, that's all good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Send me a list now though, because when I'm out there, I go for it. I go for everything. I'll sell whatever I need to get that dollar. So,
Okay.
but
Tell you what's coming up.
yeah, for sure, dude. Definitely send me a list, dude. That's legit. So, do y'all want to have story time with Uncle Marco? You want to have story time with
Who's
Uncle
in your
Marco?
room, Matt? There's someone in your room.
Oh no,
Be careful. There's somebody in there.
There's somebody there.
Gary.
Shit, my speaker. So a couple weeks ago, as a lot of people know that watch me, I don't like to discuss when I went directly to a comic book store or something going hunting, but I will always give
Murder in Matt's room.
I'll always give a week or two later. I don't mind at all talking about it. A couple weeks ago, I went out hunting. I went out to a different area. And it was a weird place. It was like a truck, like an old overflow area that I had to go see. I tracked it down. I was going out there. They were only going to be there at a certain time. It was like a little bit over a couple hour drive. So I found a couple comic book stores on the way. And I know I've been accused before of being in love with comic book store owners and not saying poor stuff. And I still won't. I did have experience at this one comic book store that I was waiting to burn some time. And I went in there, and while I was in there, the guy was looking up stuff on the computer. He didn't say hi, which when I walk in your store, please, I run businesses too. I don't care that your job is to be nice to people. Didn't say hi. He had his head down. So I said, hey, how's it going? Okay, fair enough. Started digging through, and you can see this is one of those guys that, like, when everything closed down, he went through eBay and just started, because he had nothing else to do, just started slamming books. And he had a nice selection. Don't get me wrong. Like, he had a lot of good stuff there to dig on. And when I'm going through this, I'm like, okay, well, where am I going to get this guy? So I went to magazines, and I did. And I'm not going to show what I got because you'll hear that in the story later. But I got a couple mags, and he must have priced those a long time ago. Pulled those up. So then I started going through some other stuff, and I see a list. He left a list of books he had looked up on eBay and said, like, hot list, hot books. So I'm like, dude, he's probably watching our channel, which is funny. But I'm like, okay. So he's watching the hot 10, right? Like, so like, all right. And I look to see, and you see the books, and they're like, they are eBay asking prices. I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. Underneath, though, he hasn't got to a lot of stuff. So me, I'm old, but I still get down, brother. So I'll get down low. I start digging down low. And there's stuff that's not priced there. So I pull up a couple things, and I look at them. And then the next people that walk in is somebody. He's like, hey, how's it going? What can I find you? What can I do for you? And I'm like, oh, all right. So you're going to be nice to them. And now I know where this is going. You're looking my books up. So I start to pull a couple books, go through, and I'm like, I got 10 more minutes to kill. I can do some time. So I pull out a stack about 40, right? And I'm going to shorten the story up a little bit. I pull up stack 40, go up to the front, because at one point he said, hey, you're not allowed to dig under there. I said, oh, I'm sorry. I'll put the stuff back. And he's like, no, bring him up and I'll look him up. And as soon as he said, bring him up and I'll look him up, I knew where he was going with that. I'd already seen his list. I was like, oh, you want me to do your work for me? I'll help you curate your museum. No problem, man. I'm there. Just ask. I will help you curate that museum for all day long. So I pull $40
for a nominal fee.
Yeah, well, it's my own humor, right? So I'm like
Nice.
taking books that like I know are hitting the list, I know are going to be there, and he's going to mark them up really high. And then like 3 books after that, which he's going to waste his time looking up. He's just going to waste it. So I kept doing that. Got about a stack of 40, go up there. First 2 books, the magazines that I wanted, and another book, and there was 2 copies of this book. And one was priced decent, what I was willing to pay for, and the other one was a little bit higher, still in the realm I was willing to pay for. Guy scans the magazine, cool. Next book he pulls out, cool. Third book he pulls out, he goes, you can only have 1 copy. Now this is this is like not like a year ago, this is like 10 years old comic. And I'm like, cool. He goes, which one do you want? Same grade. I go, I'll take a cheaper one. I said, but you know what? Here's the thing. Because he's like, I was like, I'll put that one back. He's like, no, I'll take it. So he's going to price it out. The next book, he goes, hey, I'll look it up. Gives me a price, and it's eBay asking price on the book, right? I said, oh, that's good. That's a good price. Hey, hold on. Could you just ring up these 2 really quickly? I only got enough cash to pay for these 2, and I have to run back to work. But please just price all the rest of these 40 books. I'll come back, I promise, in 2 days, because I'll be working late today. Just price them all and get them going. He's like, well, can you come back today? I was like, no. Could you just price them? I want them all. So please don't sell them to anyone. Please don't sell them to anybody else. He's like, you got it. So I take the 2 books that he underpriced, took them out of the place. And I hope it took him all the week to price out that.
Nice.
And he can have a nice day with his museum. But then I got to the oversale of the box, the people that were doing it. We're going to go over some of the books I got. I'm not going to tell you the exact price. I'm just going to tell you that they were, because it came out, my entire total came out to $68.40. I picked out probably about like, not even all the most expensive books. Cause like, look, man, I'm not out here to like books that I think people can still find out there. They're pretty decent and they go for a decent price. Not the most expensive, not the rarest. And most of them are the modern versions of it. So let's go through it, Matt. What do we got on the list? Is it this book? So this book was all the books averaged under $5. Most of them averaged $1.50. This is what it's retailing for recently. So I think I'll keep that. Also made the top 10, by the way, this week, which is beautiful. Make sure you guys are watching the top 10. Obviously, that's a controversial book because of the Riri thing. Is it 7? Is it 10? I don't care. For $1.50, I'm picking up either one. They're still out there.
It's
guys, Matt, put it up there.
141.
Yeah. It's still like good shape. I mean, these things were stored well. Obviously, it was probably a comic book store that went out. That's why it was in the tractor trailer. The next book, we've got here we go. We got The Walking Dog. Very clean. These books had been stored. The shop must have gone out of business and like they just boxed it up. And the shop must have used to have the bag and board things. They must have automatically, when they got shipping in day, put them in bag and boards. So I picked up the Pizza Dog. Once again, about $1.50. Roughly there. Oh, this book, they're saying there's no more of them out in the wild. Yeah, Matt, if you could. Look, I just want to show them how clean this book is. Just look at how clean this book is. Like, it's clean, man. They bagged and board this thing. Good. These are like the quality of all these books. I mean, I got the black light on. You aren't seeing gapping in the creases on the end. You're not seeing spine ticks on them. There's not a lot of bend on it. The next book, I think, is this right here. Black Panther variant. The reason why I picked these up real quickly is for like, if you can get them under like, first off, if you can get them for like $2 or $1, right? Like she's going to be the Black Panther, right? You know, if you can get it, and this is clean, it's a black cover. Once again, I got the black lights on back here and I'm seeing no space, no whiteness in this book, dude. I'm seeing it clean. I did. Hey, look, man, I'm out here in Detroit. We used to run the rackets out here, dude. I'll buy books off the back of a truck, dude. And dude, it smelled so, mind you, it smelled so bad. There was something dead and rotting in the way back of this thing. So like,
sound like that dude's soul from the way you said it when you walked in.
I'm gonna buy a van with no windows and write comic books on the side and just drive back and forth in front of Marco's house.
You gotta do. Hey, I didn't say it was easy. Look, I don't live in those easy places. I live in the hard places. You guys are like, oh, I went to the corner store and didn't find anything. Look, man, the hustle's for real, dude. You got to go out there and get it. But like, sometimes you might be like, this is a little sketch, dude. And it was a little. Look, it wasn't like the story where the people are going up into like, may or may not be a drug abuser and may or may not have been like, look, it ain't that type of situation. This is legit people. They were just trying to offload like the overhauls of whatever it was. You know what I mean? Actually, it was like I'm not going to tell the whole story, but it was legit. I made sure it was legit. I wasn't buying illegal books. Then this book, because they were doing stuff how they were doing it was a whole pricing weird thing too, where it came out that they weren't. I'll tell the whole story one day when we get finished off with it. I haven't even been through like a quarter of the truck yet. So like I got to get to the rest of it first. Because this is the new stuff, by the way. Then I got this book. Once again, cover's clean. Oh, still there. The 9/8s are going for like 400. Yeah, this is 9/8. That's a 9/8. That's a 9/8. What did I got next? Oh, I picked up this because we're talking about top 10 books. I picked up the Mace Windu book. We know this is about $100 raw book right now, maybe a little bit less. $1.50 again. Oh, got these. Yeah. How you like me now? I thought these were all picked. I thought the best pickers in the world said they took all these books out of everywhere. Everywhere.
They were fucking wrong.
They were wrong. I got at least 2 copies of there. I'm not going to. Yeah, here.
Wait, which is that? The first print?
First print.
Okay.
I don't see any breaking. I don't. They're now they are because I'm throwing them around like an idiot. But you know what I mean? Like just they were so beautiful. Obviously none of it, because there's a packed up business that went out of place, is in order. There was no like listing of the order or anything. So you really had to get down and dirty. I had my new Nordstrom rack pants on, beautiful, nice new khakis that now have been thrown into the trash because like the sludge that I had to go through just to get out there wasn't exact. Like I smelled like a dumpster. These books don't smell.
Like,
luckily,
I throw them away and buy new ones.
Yeah. Luckily,
did you find all the Star Wars books under Star Trek? That's where you went looking.
There was none of it was listed, so it was like pretty much a gamble. Oh, and by the way, I was on the clock too, because the person that came out there's like, I got to go out. I'm not gonna say where they said I go out. Let's just say they're going out to some lively entertainment later on, and they only had a couple hours to handle this stuff. So I have to go back a couple times because they're only giving you a couple hours. They really don't care about what's being sold and what's not.
Was it the Pink Pussy or the Kitten Cat Club?
I would, in the area I was in, I would go to neither one of those two places, just to let you know. It was like that type of place.
That's a Van Damme reference.
Yeah. Then I got this. So I know,
baby.
So I know it's a little bit older because I got this Thunderbolts out of there. And they're like, that book's a little bit older. I think it's going to cost you $2. I said, I will take it for $2. Yes, sir. I will spend $2 on that. Thank you very much. There's a bunch of
book.
Huh?
Said I got that book.
Yeah. Not bad for $2, man. And it's clean too. I mean, it could be there. Also, I always like to buy it. The auction price is a little better. I did get a stack of these. You know, obviously it's not a huge book at this point, but while I'm adding stuff on, you might as well get the old Delato Secret Invasion ones, especially considering they're clean. I mean, they were literally $1. Like, I mean, I don't know. I probably, maybe it's like, I hope shows will open back up because I didn't just get those. I got about 5 of these too for $1. Because I'm hoping like this series is a far ways off. Does anybody see Secret Invasion coming out soon? I hope not. I hope that cons
not this year.
Yeah. I hope that they come back up because, you know, always if you can get those blank sketch variants and sell them, if you can buy them for $1 or less and sell them when the people are signing at the cons you go to, if you set up at cons, like that's why I buy those sketch covers, man. Yeah, like Secret Invasion $1.
Some new Nordstrom rack pants.
I know, dude. I love the rack, man. They're great. That's where I buy my Skechers too. But here you go. So like a $20 book. Look, I know this is show stuff, right? Like I'm obviously going to put it at the show for $10, $15. Hopefully they announce like the show or give a trailer. It comes out a little bit better. And then I'll get a little bit more off of it. Are people laughing at my look, I'm cheap, dude. That's why I don't pay market for comic books. I don't pay market price for comic books. I don't pay market price for pants. I'm cheap. There's nothing around the way I'm cheap. But yeah, so that's what I got.
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, look, you guys I could have done the whole other stack over there, but we don't want to turn this into like a show and tell. There's some other cool Star Wars stuff I picked up. We'll leave it for another time. There's some other cool Marvel stuff I picked up. I haven't even gotten to the DC or the independent section yet, which is just like, it's mind blowing at this point. So hopefully I'll give you more in the coming weeks and months as I go back. Like I said, it's not a,
Hey, did he have any of these?
He did. There was a bunch of those.
And you didn't buy them for me?
There was long boxes.
Dude, you're killing me, Smalls.
Hey, Mike, do you got to go?
You got to go. Just bail out, man. It's cool.
No, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah.
It was really educational.
I appreciate you guys having me on tonight.
Real quick before you leave,
fun
why
going over
don't you tell everyone where they can catch your show?
You can catch us over at youtube.com/The Grizzled Geek. where we do our weekly podcast every Friday at 6, and then we have our reactions and other shows on there as well. Plus, you can get the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Deezer, all that. So, but thanks, guys. I had a lot of fun. Thanks.
Thank
No,
you.
dude, it was really cool. We appreciate it, man.
See you, buddy.
Let's hook up, do something later. All right.
Yeah, Marcus, no problem. Let's do
cool.
it.
All right, you got it. So, anyways, like going through these places, I know everybody says it's dry everywhere and it's tough. And yeah, some of us have it harder than others, right? Like, not everybody can just walk into like books that are just laying around all the time, especially regionally. You have to go into some of these places and we try to pull the actual sales data that happened the most recent. So, some of them, these aren't the averages, these aren't the highs, they aren't the lows. But when you're going through and you're spending $68, I mean, I would pay $68 for just the books that I showed you, not including the other, 50 books or 55 books that I have that I didn't even show at this point. It does get sketchy. Don't get me wrong, man. I mean, like, I know sometimes we watch some of these videos and everything, and everybody's like, oh, look they're pulling out all these books from everywhere and Instagrams, and yeah, everybody's on the best vacation. I'm never going to tell you that, man. And maybe it is for everybody else, but it's a hard hustle, man. Like, it's not like you are buying $20 books sometimes for $1. Like, I do shows. So like, this is something that I'll sell at a show. So that's all I want to do. I want to show you guys some books that I thought was pretty cool. Explain kind of the background story of like how I got them, and
Yeah, that's
hopefully you
sweet.
enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
Some good ones.
I enjoyed it very much.
That kind of leads me to another topic I wanted to talk about a little bit, and that's like you do a lot of stuff at shows, right, Marco?
Yes, I do. Yep.
So leading me to vendors and shops that decide to grade books without actually CGCing them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're going, all right, you go to, best case scenario, you go to a show, you're looking at a book, and they've got very fine plus 7.0 on the book. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Then you send them to CGC and they come back a 5.0. All right. Or you get, yeah. Or you walk to a shop and the shop owner is like, that book right there, that grade's solid 8 CGC. Easy. Get it back 5.5.
Yeah. So it's tough because like, you got to remember when I was first doing this, there was only the OWL card and the Overstreet guide, and like, it was a little different, right? It wasn't the grading system it is now. And you either learn from people who were really good at it, or like you kind of knew like I've seen people before sell books and say what it is and gone up to the book and it's color touched and not like hard to recognize color touch. And they're saying it's bleed. And like, I'm not saying that they're dishonest people, but you kind of know if you're around enough and you spend time on the floors, like you kind of know who those people are. You also know that some of these people aren't intentionally grading it, right? Like you have to, if you're going to go out there and buy books and grade them, you have to look, you have to know what spine ticks are. You have to know your aging and stuff. And some of the times, like when grading came out, like when it started doing big and they started doing on-site grading, I think even like the CGC boards would help you out back in the day. But like when they started doing on-site grading, a lot of time was like hit or miss because it was crazy. Like people finding out that like Silver Age, Gold Age, and then like bronze was getting not like it wasn't that good. But if you could get Silver Age books, especially early age ones, they were giving you bumps naturally across the board. If you were sending them in, or there was called the on-site bump. And a lot of it was an on-site bump across the board, but silver was getting huge, like a point bump. Moderns were getting probably like a 0.5, bronze, copper, probably 5. You were getting anywhere from a point to a 0.5 bump. You have to know that stuff. Like you have to know it. And some of it is if you can get somebody to take you under your wing, like probably that's a great thing to do. But a lot of the cases that I was like, it was really good guys that helped me out and trial and error. And you just have to make sure, like, if you can buy some of these books for $1, now is not the time, mind you. Don't send anything now because
buy that for $1.
Yeah, we already talked about the Postal Service, but it is like it's just like pressing. We weren't just pressing when we started pressing. We weren't just pressing like some 50-cent book. We were pressing books we were going to sell, and we blew up some books. I mean, I blew up an ASM 50. Like, it is what it is. Like, that's cool. Like, I mean, it was low grade anyways. And at the time, and people are going to go crazy about this. Mind you, this is years ago. This is like 5 or 6 years ago. So it's not like it is now. It's not like an ASM is going for what it is now. But like you have to, it's trial and error, a lot of stuff. I've seen people walk into stores and go on the wall, the Wednesday Warriors, and go like, yeah, this book's damaged and it's Marvel rub. Like, think about this. Think about how many people passed on Thanos 13 to Albuquerque, right? Like, if you were around for that, the Marvel rub was a thing. And it was when people started calling in and called CGC and said, listen, this is a manufacturer defect. You have to start marking it as a manufacturer defect. And as soon as they did, a lot of us went around to different stores, even to like 50, 60 miles, and picked them all off of walls because they were still on walls. The minute you found out that was a manufacturer defect, it was good. But there was a lot of people coming in that were trying to do quick flips and didn't understand what Marvel rub at the time was and were too scared to even ask. They were like, this is a damaged book. And then they were damaging the book by pulling it out and slamming it, man. Like, unfortunately, some of those things are just what you have to learn. And there's a lot of people out there who are willing to teach you. I can't teach you over the internet what Marvel rub is. I can't teach you over the internet. Like, look, obviously there's black light. So when I was showing those books and saying like, look, it's clean on the side. When I'm saying it's clean on the side, you can't see the black light reflect off of that, right? I don't always, I wear contacts and glasses. There's certain contacts I wear specifically to shops if I'm going hunting so that I can see certain things. Okay. There's the same way with my glasses. If I'm having a bad allergy day, I will not wear contacts because you need to see some of the stuff, some of the defects that actually go in there. I do think that Overstreet Guide is probably like the owl card is very important, especially if you're buying older. Modern, it's I hate to say it, but it's easier to find those defects in modern, right? Like spine tick, cool. Like, you know what a spine tick is. If there's roll in it, you know a roll can be pressed out, but why is there a roll in a modern book? That means something's probably damaged somewhere. Pull of a staple, you can figure that out. The little boxing they have on the corners or the pulls on the like, it's really important with the moderns that you're looking at the that part of the book, because this part of the book's always the damaged part, right? Like, this is where we're looking at the spine, because in the spine is where you'll technically see the stress lines, the crack lines. You cannot fix those. Does sometimes CGC gave you a higher grade than you should deserve? Sure. Should one spine tick take you all the way down to a 9.4? No. 9.8 isn't mint. Like, if I heard you guys, Brian, talk about like what it was like a couple of weeks ago about getting 9.9s or 10s back. I've never been fortunate enough to get a 10 back, but I've been fortunate enough to get a couple 9.9s back. And like, getting a 9, the difference between a 9.9 and 9.8 sometimes is like, yeah. But getting the difference between a 9.9 and a 9.8 sometimes, it's the roll of the dice. It really does seem that sometimes at live shows, they just have so many 9.9s that they have to print out. And they're required to give 9.9s. I'm not saying that's the truth. I'm just telling you, for somebody who's graded over thousands of books I couldn't tell a difference live, and I've had 5 9.9s come back. I couldn't tell you the difference between a 9.9 and a 9.8. Hey, what's going on? Oh, look at this. The man himself is in here.
Hi.
but hey, I mean, like, that's it. Like, so that's some of the hard stuff. Like, if you're looking at moderns, you're right. Like, you have to do that. You have to figure out press, and a lot of it is press and error, and try it. Like, I buy collections, so like, it's easy for me to destroy a book, because when the price like that, like what I just showed you, I bought that for $68 plus 50 more books. You think if I destroy a Darth Vader 3, my bottom line cost is that far off? No, man. My bottom line cost, yeah, sure, I threw a $300 book out the door, but like, and you shouldn't do that. But at the same point, like, it's very easy then to buy that book for $1 and think you got $300 in it. And now all of a sudden there's 8 spine ticks in it. The inside's missing page. And I get it wrong too, because you know what my biggest notorious is, and John Z can attest this, because we sit in the same lines at CGC all the time, and I get a green label, is I don't count pages. I never count pages. And every year I'll get a big book back and I'll be missing a page. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
I never count pages either, but I've never ran into that yet. But there's a couple times I've been nervous.
Because if they go over 20, one, I got to take my shoes off, and 2, after 21, I just it's all over from there. It's like, nah, I don't know if it's missing pages or not.
But that's the most important thing. Like, yeah, I understand that some guys grade it, and I won't, like, some of the old timers, I don't look, some of them can only see out of one eye. Like, that's not on them. Like, grading subjective, right? Like, you even at the top grading places, it's subjective. There's a notorious story of somebody who does not work at the top grading place anymore. He works, I'm not going to say where he works. He graded a lot of books that were trimmed. Call it micro trimming, call it whatever you want. He graded a lot of trimmed books and gave him it passed his eye.
On Modern Mayhem, we prefer the term manscaping.
Yeah, so that's just it. I mean, like
those books.
That's the official term.
I guess if your question was like, how do you determine? You need to learn how to grade.
Probably the Brazilian.
How would you deal with something like that? You personally, if you go up to a booth at say San Diego Comic-Con, you pull up a book from a vendor and it says 7.0 mint, and you're looking at it, you're like, there's no way, and he wants you to pay a certain price for it. Do you confront him about it and be like, look, this is a book, there's no way the book's 7.0?
You heard my story earlier about hitting that comic book shop. I give you 40 books to make you do the work, and I walk out the door, dude. I'm not mad at it. There's enough. Look, I get it. People want the easy money. Going to a trailer sale is not always the easiest thing to do, but you can get gold out of it. Like, I'll work harder. You know what I mean? I'm old too, and I'll still work harder. I'm not going to do that, but I'm not going to criticize somebody's business. Like, yeah, if it comes back color touched, I'll see you. If you told me that book is legit and it comes back color touched, we're going to have a conversation. And I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm just going to tell you, hey man, look, I just want to let you know. And this is why it's good to build relationships with these guys too, right? Like, I'm just going to let you know, I know you probably don't know this, but I sent this book out and it came back color touched or trimmed. If those two things happen, I'm getting my money back. If it's that he graded it differently or she graded differently than what came back in one of the grading companies, I can't fault them for that. Like, there's only certain things I can fault them for. And they might not have known that it is color touched or missing a page or defective. But if it's a defect, like a true defect, and they're selling it as a 9.8 or they're selling a Silver Age as a 7.5 and it's missing a page, it's incomplete, or it's been trimmed, or it has color touched on it. And look, man, I've bought some books that are very well done. Look, in that era, color touching wasn't a no-no, right? Like now, the last 10, 15 years, coloring touch is a no-no. Back then, with some of those books, coloring touch wasn't a no-no. You would pay extra for people who were really good at doing it. But yeah, so that's what I would do. If it comes out like that, very nicely, I'd go up to him and say like, hey, look, this book's been touched, or this book has been trimmed. This book has a defect. I know you didn't know it. How are we going to make this right? And then if they don't want to make it right.
That happened to me and Brian one
right.
time. We bought a huge, amazing Spider-Man collection, and we had sold off some of it. We had sold 300 to one of our buddies. And it was like his dream book. Like, that was the book he'd always wanted. And like, he bought it from us, and we went to San Diego Comic-Con, and he got it signed, and it came back. And it came back with color touch. And fuck, man, we felt so fucking bad. Like, we didn't know. We looked. We didn't see any color touch. It's nothing that it was. It must have been good, because it, like, when Brian and I look at books, we look at it with like a magnifying glass, like literally, like, And we didn't see any color touch, and it came back. Man, we were glad he was cool about it. Like, he was like, "Hey, man, you didn't know. It's cool."
Yeah. No, I mean, that's it. Like, but you have to be cool too. Like, listen, I'm not the guy that's going to shine. And I get him now too. Like, I don't blame him. Just don't molest my books while you're doing it, right? Like, make sure you treat that book like that's something you're going to buy, right? So, like, I don't mind you using the black light. I don't mind you if you pull the book out, especially if it's in my light. Yeah, make sure you're doing it right. Do not slam. Oh, that's not annoying to the people who are just listening to it at all.
I was just about to say, you just pissed off a ton of people right there.
Like,
brother. What's up, Adonis? How you doing, man?
Slam thing. Don't do the slam thing either. Like, when you're putting it back, I'm okay with a lot of stuff. I let a lot of stuff slide too, man. Like, I've been like, one book isn't going to break me or make a difference in my life. You know what I mean? But I think it's right. Like, this guy, Joe's, he's right. Like, I'm not paying whatever you graded at. I'm not paying what you think it is. First off, I'm not paying what you think the price of that grade is, even if you're looking at Overstreet Guide. I'm paying the price that I think I'm going to pay. And if I can't get that price, no hard feelings, bro. We're good. I'm moving on to the next one. I'm just not wasting any more time. You know what I mean? And that's it. So what's going on? We got somebody new. Let's get him in. I don't think anybody wants to hear me rant anymore.
Yeah, I was about to say, did you just take a breath, bro? Jesus so. Christ, bro. All right, there we go. What's going on, everybody? How's the show been so far? Jumping in late. As you guys can see, I've got I've got some goodies to open up tomorrow night on the Flip Side show, so make sure you guys tune in as we're talking about grading. I know a couple of the books in there are Matt's. Matt's got a couple of other books. I'm guessing that's what you guys are talking about?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll say this about grading. I think grading is one of the hardest things in comics not because it's hard to do, but a lot of people don't know how to grade. They don't even attempt to go learn. So, including myself for a long time, you know what I mean? I'm not the best grader, but I at least, you go learn what grading is and what CGC standards are, and you guys can go get there's books out there you can buy, there's web pages you can go check out, talk to comic pressers. I know a lot of the pressers out there are like, they don't want to give away their goodies, and I don't blame them. Like, cornbread isn't always free, right? And the best of it isn't. So I get it that they don't want to talk about it, but some of those guys will talk to you about grading, and that's really important. So
yeah, so just to address Eric real quickly, then I'll let it go after that, because actually there's something later we'll talk about that he asked me a question in the IGs, but that question is very interesting. I've seen it. They're going to hate me for this, but I don't really use my real name, so it's okay. I've seen it done because I accidentally stumbled on it before, where I accidentally was in the room while they were doing it. It's very interesting. There is a process, and it's not one person. Like even like with the grading thing, like there's somebody who there is somebody who counts the pages. There's somebody who double checks it. There's somebody who checks the grading. They put like a grading system scan down. There is stuff they're supposed to check on it. I've seen it happen before. It goes into a different pile. Then somebody double checks that without looking at the grades it. And then there's somebody who verifies the grades. I've only seen it done through 2 people. Sometimes I've heard there's 3 people who do it. I've actually seen somebody put it into a pile, somebody else look and not look at what the grade was. And then a third person compare the grades, look at what the defects in the notes were supposed to be. I know notes don't show up. Now, this is years ago too, by the way. This is when notes were showing up and stuff. But there were notes that, and the guys were comparing their notes. And there was somebody that was entering it in and checking that whatever the notes were and whatever the grade was ended up right. Even with that being happened, mind you, I've gotten books that came back with a way higher grade and had visible defects on them that weren't caught. That being said, so like nobody's perfect, but yeah.
Now see, that's because the guy or gal sent in their books and they were smart. So what they also did is they bought a bunch of male and female strippers and bags of cocaine and weed, and they like shipped them to the CGC that day, the day before, and then they're like, "Hey, my book's showing up," and they're like, "Wow, 9.9s for everybody, right?" And that's
see what I do is inside my book. I slide a 50 in it, and on the 50 I write 9.8.
There you go. On the inside cover, there's like 100 just sitting in there. 9.9, please.
I bet you people have tried that. It would be very interesting the next time that we have one of those guys on to ask them, like, what are some of the weirdest things? Has that ever happened to you guys? They'll probably say no, but I guarantee stuff like that has happened.
Sure,
we should try it.
Fuck that! I don't want to do that, dude. They'll probably say, "Don't ever send anything back." Right?
We'll send it in Adonis's name then.
I famously sent in mind you, I put everything under a black light before I send it in. I sent in 9.8 pre-screens. I got a book back, and let's just say it had a female character by a artist that is very provocative, and who likes cats. And it came back, and the comments why it came back rejected 9.8 was that it had a unidentified substance on it. Bro. I put all my black covers under a black light. There wasn't any substance. Definitely not an unidentified substance on that. So I'm sorry for whoever bought that book, because I put it on the wall and underpriced it really well so that somebody would take it out of there, because I couldn't even have that in the house.
Somebody took it to the CGC bathroom and fucking spanked one. Huh?
I'm not saying it was at CGC, bro. Don't throw them under the bus. I'm never going to get great back.
I mean PGX.
Yeah, he was at PGX.
You dirty old bastards.
Grading is very subjective, man. Just like anything else.
Company.
Well, it's disappointing Corbin's not here because it's time to talk about a little bit of DC Comics. We got our solicitations for March news coming out for after this future state stuff, and it looks like DC's heading for another type of rebirth. They're gonna rebirth their rebirth here. Moving forward. And we're gonna get some more Batman stuff. We're getting to new Damian Wayne is getting his own costume, or new costume now that he's no longer Robin. Let me share my screen here. So we got this from James Tynion in the new Bat family that's coming out, and you got the new Damian Wayne right there.
I saw that artwork by the artist, so I was definitely on board with that. I'm digging it.
You like that new costume?
Yeah.
What about that costume stand out for? I mean, right now he's got no name. It's just the plain Jane costume.
And that's why I like it, because everybody's on that bat tip, and they're like, oh, let's do some version of this, this Batman and what we're already used to and everything like that. From an artist standpoint, I'm looking at that, and that stands out the most to me because it's very far away from what we're always used to. That's why I gravitated towards Red X a lot, because when I saw Red X, I was like, whoa, this looks cool. I like everything about this. It kind of has an anime feel. It also has I forgot what it was. His name was
new and fresh.
Yeah. What's the comic? Is it Grendel? I forgot what it's called. But it has like that feeling of like, this is not like anything that we've ever seen within this worldscape. So let's keep going. Show me more. And with Damian like that, he looks like a kind of has a Kato feel to it. And I'm all about Bruce Lee, so let's go.
Doesn't it almost look kind of like he's taking off on the assassins and Ra's al Ghul type shit?
Yeah, and I'm all for that. That's always a good feeling for me.
I just wish he was Red X.
The interesting thing I think about that is it's kind of hard to see in this, but Tim Drake sitting back there, rocking the old the Robin red, yellow, and green again.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask about that too.
Is he rocking it or is he holding it? It doesn't look like it. Looks like he's holding it.
Nah,
he's holding the shirt. He's not. He doesn't have it on.
It looks like he's got it on. He's just got his chin on his fist from the bigger picture.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So his legs are crossed, and he's like, what's up?
So look how stupid Jason Todd looks. Sorry.
Yeah. So spinning out of Future State is their new rebrand called Infinite Frontier, where they're going to reduce again, like they did with Rebirth. They're reducing their publication size. Their publication for the month of March is like 30 books, 30 titles. But one of those titles is a new Joker ongoing series. And when I saw that, I was kind of like, to play the Corbin role this week, I saw that and I was kind of taken back because I was like, when you see, to me it's stupid because Tynion's going to be writing it, so I have hope there. But the Joker is one of those characters that when he's in a story, it means something, right? It sparks something. You're like, I got to buy that book.
Yep.
Does it kind of ruin the mystique of this character a little bit if he's going to be in a monthly ongoing series?
Yes.
Didn't they try that once already too?
Well, he's had minis. I mean, I'm okay for a Joker mini every couple of years, but I agree. Joker shouldn't be in comics every month. Like when he shows up, it should be a big deal. We should get
hitting the fan.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
What a joke.
That's it. But exactly. When Joker is there, he is there for a very specific reason. There's going to be some change in
pain. Lots of pain.
Lots of pain. There's going to be lots of strife. There's going to be lots of lots of obstacles that the Bat family is going to have to overcome in order to get to another level of understanding, another level of heroics and things of that nature. If Joker's over here just being Joker every day and we're, it's Joker's version of the real world and things like that, like, okay, we're going to get desensitized by it. And I understand that, a lot of people, oh my God, I love Joker. Oh my God, he's so cool. Oh man.
Well, you totally just said it. That's what I was going to say. If they're going to do a Joker every month, you're either going to have to get desensitized or you're going to have to make that storyline and that artwork amazing. You're going to have to do a dark, really hard storyline, and you're going to have to make that Joker the Joker of all Jokers. And I mean, you're setting yourself up for failure before you even start.
I mean, we could say that, but we could also hope that they understand that and they do what we're talking about. They pull out all the stops and they show us what we need to see that drives this, that justifies him having his own storyline for month to month for however long they choose to do it.
So what's up with Harley Quinn? Is that Harley Quinn?
Yep. It is Harley Quinn. Yep. Reading current Batman 105 current stories, it feels very much like they're including her in the Bat family. Like she's going to be a member of the Bat family going forward.
Well, I mean, she that makes sense because, I mean, look at that post. She's definitely an Instagram model, so she's a hottie thotties, and she's out here making sure that she's bringing all kinds of attention. They get as many likes as possible. They probably get sponsored. You know what I'm saying? Like, that, yes, that makes sense.
The no more Amanda Connor, Frank Cho, Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
That's long gone, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bummer. It's a bummer. I love that Harley Quinn.
Frank Cho's line work, from an artist standpoint, hey,
yeah.
Hey.
Who's the freaking Cobra Commander standing behind Red Hood?
That's exactly what I was about to ask. Who's behind Grifter that looks like Cobra Commander?
That's a good question.
Is that the dude? Because
can you zoom in on it a little bit?
He looks like he's wearing like a police armor, like the dude from I forgot what was it from Young Justice that was guarding something. I forgot.
Oh yeah,
just hit the plus button there, Matt, and then move over to it.
Yeah.
What was that dude? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I forgot his name because that looks like Gotham PD, like riot armor.
Isn't that,
the Guardian or something like that.
Ghostmaker, new character.
Yes. Oh, that one. Yes, that dude. I've seen a couple covers at the shop up in Scottsdale by my work. Hashtag comic book shocked by your work is not a good thing.
So you're talking about the dude in blue.
Yeah,
I was talking about the dude in blue.
The guy up here, that's Ghost. Well, the girl up here, because if you read 105, it's actually a female, and I have a theory that that's Talia al Ghul because of the relationship and the way this character and Bruce are talking to each other. It is a female. He confirms it's a female.
Yeah.
Bruce does, and I have a feeling by the way they're talking and their skill set that's going to end up being Talia al Ghul.
Who's the dude in the back with the yellow eyes?
Is that not Sandman?
Scarecrow?
There you go.
It kind of looks like Scarecrow, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I think Scarecrow's a really dope, underused character, man.
For sure. Scarecrow is a phenomenal character, and if they utilized him correctly and expanded on his storyline, there's so many things that could be developed with that, and really introduce a new feeling to the Batman universe.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I'm just...
That yellow and black suit always busted me up. It looks so much like Booster Gold at a distance. It's just... when did Booster Gold join the Wayne family? Like, come on, man.
Well, I'm interested to see
love Booster Gold.
How they spin, because this Infinite Frontier is supposed to be their current storylines mixed with future state stuff and new stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how all of this connects, because I know they're talking about doing the redemption of Wally West and getting it all that. Like, I think there's some exciting stuff in DC Comics. Like, we rag on DC Comics a lot, but I think Infinite Frontier, I think there's some good stuff coming out of it. If nothing more than for the speculation that's coming out of Infinite Frontier #0 of what a lot of people are expecting or are specking it's going to be Diana as the new Spectre.
Diana Prince? Diana Prince? Diana Wonder Woman?
Let me share this. Yes.
Oh, I did see the line work for this, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" I didn't dive.
I'll say I'm open to anything, but this does not look good to me at all. At fucking all. No part of this. Like, if somebody came and gave me this idea, and listen, I want DC to do awesome. I love Batman, and I love the Spectre. Spectre's, Kyle knows, the guys know, Spectre's one of my favorite characters. But I don't know, man. I don't want Wonder Woman to be the new Spectre. I want Wonder Woman to be Wonder Woman.
I know they're changing Nightwing's symbol a little bit for his costume. I was trying to get you to zoom in on it to see if they actually had done it.
Really? What? In what way?
They're separating them, so they've tweaked it a little bit. So
so it's higher on the shoulders, maybe.
Yep.
Well, and weren't they going to orange and black, or they were changing the color on that one cover at one point?
Well, he had a Deathstroke type thing going on that one cover.
Yeah, they're putting the Nightwing bird symbol up front and center.
Why is somebody on a computer? Why is somebody on a laptop?
That's Oracle.
Yeah,
that's Oracle.
Yeah, it's Barbara Gordon Oracle. Yeah.
That's cool. I love that character. I think Oracle is one of the most. They need to figure out to put that character front and center again.
Yeah, hacker or something like.
Keep her handicapped.
She's their Overwatch. Yeah, like they're kind of like hacker /
the guy in the chair.
Guy in the chair. Yeah, exactly.
But she's kind of back right now.
Yes.
In Batman.
You know who I think they should definitely they should utilize. I think. Did you guys ever mess with Simon Dark?
Mm-mm.
He was in the Gotham, in the Gotham universe and everything like that. But he was. It's just a side story, and I read it. Like during college, and it was basically like the paranormal side of things. And
was that backups? And did they do backups in Batman issues back in the day for Simon Dark? Like he would be just like a 4-page backup in issues of Detective or something?
No, it was
okay.
His own run. He had his own run. I think I have all of them. But Simon Dark, he was just this cool character, but he dealt with more of the dark side of things. Not so much towards like the Constantine dark side of things, but like almost there. And I think he like idolized Batman. He idolized the Bat family and everything like that. So that's why he wanted to do certain things. And he would go like I gravitate when it comes to comic. When it comes to these, Marvel, I'm usually in the Spider-Man universe and kind of outside of that. DC, I'm always in the Batman universe. And then Image, I'm in every universe that they create essentially.
Is the Batman universe too big?
I think it is getting too big.
I agree.
I don't even know who the two dudes front and center are.
Which two?
Who's the regular dude that looks like he's going to get us in free at the nightclub?
Yeah,
That's the punchline. I don't know who that dude is.
He's chilling in a leather jacket, like, look at all my friends in their
He's
tight
like,
in their cape.
I know some people. You dig? I know some people. We can get it. I bet.
Get the nightclub.
Hey, that's the hookup. That's the hookup guy. That's with those jeans, you ain't hooking
58 pan, and he's got a chain, and that's it. And he's like, I'm here to rumble. Switchblade on the other hand.
Hey, you guys need some coffee? What's up? I got you.
Yeah.
I got the Starbucks.
He's the intern.
I know the guy.
Intern. Over there. Hey. So you ordered, okay, you got DoorDash, right? All right, cool. So I'm going to go pick that up. And then Batman, he say he wanted 2 spicy chickens for Popeyes or not? Just 1 or 2?
And then who's the dude next to him with like the sleeves cut off of his muscle shirt, and then he's got like a big
That's
collar
Red Hood.
and
Red Hood took a trip to the hood, and he was like, "Oh, nah, Red Hood, son. Nah, B.
Damien
Nah,
throwing his Starbucks.
show you my guns. Like I'm showing you my guns, like both literally and figuratively, son. Let's go."
He was taking his vitamins and saying his prayers, dude.
guns out, guns out.
Exactly.
Damn.
No, seriously, who is the guy? I'm seriously like, who's the guy in the like leathers members only and the real like Jordashes, dude? Who is this guy? Like, is this a character?
Tinian says he has more new characters coming in the Bat family.
Please don't have more new characters wearing. I'm okay with that. No.
Now I thought Marco, you sure
Don't mess with the bouncer, bro.
I thought
That's the bouncer.
Marco's favorite character is Moon Knight there in the upper left corner, all dressed in.
Hey, I'll tell you this: Moon Knight's gonna be doing better than this series. Hey, so are people excited about this? I don't know. Like, I just can't read. Yes, you're excited about this?
Moon Knight? Hell yeah!
Oh no, I'm excited about Moon Knight. It's the new Batman, dude. We're good. I'm saying I missed it because I had to go get another bottle and my friends are all jacked up. But are people excited about the news that they're rolling out this whatever this is?
It's to me, it feels like rebirth all over again with their new line. Like,
I mean, I get it. We're in comics and people die and come back. Like, you go and buy new anything at a store and everything like that. But how many times do they plan on doing this? We're getting desensitized.
But you're getting Infinite Frontier. You're going to get the brand new, front cover facing in the Infinite Frontier logo with the star on it, and it's very rebirthy to me. And they're cutting down their titles again, and we're introducing
stuff sells, man. So. I mean, look, I love to find stuff, 2-3 years later when it's in the dollar bins, and then roll them up for like 60 on it. You know what I mean? Or sell it to them for 30, and it should have been a $60 book. And I'm just wondering, is this going to be so big and like people are going to just the end of these runs are going to be what we need to grab when they get to the dollar thing, or do we just think this is going to be a complete failure?
I think they ruined Future State, I think they ruined Future State and Infinite Frontier already by telling you who these characters are. The one biggest talk about who's the new Batman that's got the full cowl, no face, full cowl.
Yeah,
then they come out and tell you who it is. That was the whole mystery: is who is it?
I was like, oh, when they did that, I was like,
what titles are they coming out with for this Infinite Frontier?
So Infinite Frontier is going to run across all your main current titles. So Batman, it's all starting off with their new creative team spinning out a Future State. It's going to encompass what they've already done, Future State, and then forward.
Sounds like a Snyder cut for comics.
It's pretty much like a rebirth reboot almost. Yeah. Incorporating everything they've done moving forward with all new creative teams.
Snyder cut.
So this is a question too, because Eric just asked it, but then somebody said it earlier, like Clown Hunter, wasn't that supposed to be a first appearance we're eventually going to get paid on? And are we getting paid on Clown Hunter right now? Because I haven't followed it, but I don't think we're getting paid on Clown Hunter.
He's going to be, according to Tinian, he's going to be a big focus moving forward. He's a big focus in Batman 105. I kind of feel like it kind of stinks that you found out his true identity in an annual or a special, if you want to call
is that
it
the winter special?
No, you found it. I think it was the Joker 80th anniversary special. I believe that's where you found out his true identity. I believe that's the one. But it was during the whole Joker War stuff. You find out who his identity is, and it was in one of those books where it's like 4 different stories in one book. So, but he's kind of like in 105. You see a confrontation between him and Harley Quinn, and he accuses Harley Quinn of killing his parents, and she kind of breaks that down to him. And I don't know. A lot of the speculation is I walked in the comic shop today and they were talking about it's a lot of speculation is that Clown Hunter is going to end up being Red X, because if you look at the X on Clown Hunter's mask and the Red X hood, they're very similar.
That's interesting.
But I'm still rolling personally with Damian Wayne, because if Dick is taking up the mantle, keeping the Nightwing, but mixing in that Deathstroke feel, DC likes to keep them, these characters they just rehash and take other people's identities. So I wouldn't be surprised if Damian is Red X, because Dick was Red X in the show. So,
and to me, that makes a ton of sense because of Damian's attitude. He has that mindset of like, essentially the lethal protector. That's his mindset. He's like, okay, all right, these people want to do this. Instead of taking them to jail, let's just kill these motherfuckers. Like, let's just kill them. You know, like, no, if they don't exist, then they can't be a problem anymore. So I think that fits really well with his character and the idea of Red X, and then taking the idea of Red X to the next level.
Yeah, I agree. And Clown Hunter is just kind of that wild card still right now, that it's hard to connect those two of why he would be working with Dick and why he would put up that take over that Red X persona. It just, to me, it feels like it's Damian. And I like that what they're doing with Damian now is that he's lost that identity, and that's what I like about this costume and kind of like what you said, Adonis, is like, I like that he's finally coming to his own, because he's always kind of been that character that's like, he's my favorite Robin, but he's kind of been that character that's like, I'm entitled. My dad is Batman. I'm next in line for the cowl. I'm entitled to this. This is my heritage.
Yep.
And now he's kind of like, forget all that. I'm going on my own route. I don't need the Teen Titans. I don't need my dad. I don't need any of this. I'm doing it on my own.
This is I'm gonna find myself like lane that he's in right now. He's in that bubble of basically the year one Batman. He's in that sense where he's figuring his lane. He's figuring out his lane, and you know, he knows that's coming, and he understands like, yo, like I'm most likely going to have to pick up that torch and carry it on until I don't anymore. But until then, I'm all about me.
Yeah, and there's some good. I'll put it back up here too. There's some good covers coming for this new stuff too. Like, here's some of the Joker covers for Infinite Frontier #1 Joker. That to me isn't the greatest cover. Yeah, it is up until you get to the face. But I think this is a dope cover.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
The Punchline, him and Punchline.
Do we know what the black and white one is? Do we know what it is? Is it
just
I don't. Yeah, it's just they're just showing off the covers. I don't know what it is going to be yet. There's a Punchline one.
That's Punchline. Go back to that.
Yeah, that's
now,
Punchline.
see, that's something you can sell. That other clowny Punchline isn't. That's all right. I like that. Go ahead.
I like it darker.
Then you got that Joker looking like he's got a case of the mumps.
Oh man.
Then there's a new Harley Quinn series.
Oh God Lord.
If you go up, Matt, real quick, I think it says what the covers are right there.
Oh, there you go. The 1/25 variant cover. Yeah, it doesn't say which. The black and white.
Black and white variant cover. It just says black and white variant cover.
Yeah.
Go up, Matt. Mark Brooks is under the Federici, so find the Mark Brooks one. Go up. I'll show you the Mark Brooks one right there. That's the Mark Brooks one. So the Federici 1/25 is above that one.
Okay, so then
go
it's
up.
the black and white.
Yeah. There you go. Federici 1/25.
And what's the girl one with the two blades that's about to kill somebody? That I'm actually.
So that's under the Brooks.
The Punchline.
So go down, Matt, and find where they listed again. It'll be under the Brooks. That's who that is. No, maybe not. Is it Mattina?
That's a Mattina. Gotta be.
Yeah,
it looks like Mattina.
Well, maybe that wasn't Federici then. They just list them. They don't have them in order. It doesn't look like. The regular cover is Guillaume March, and the variant is Quietly. The one with the mumps is Quietly. So the Punchline must be.
Yeah, they should fire that dude.
What are you talking about, dude? Quietly's badass. Are you serious?
Hey, no, go put that picture back up. You think that's good?
I think that's Quietly. Quietly fans will like that.
Well, I mean, everybody's mom's a fan of their kids, I guess.
Yikes.
You think it's good? No, I'm sorry.
Great.
I don't think it's good. I think Frank Quietly's good. I don't think that's rough. I don't like that. I mean, I don't think it's terrible.
But you're trying to take a market share back. I can't see DC taking a market share back with art like that. I just can't. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, man. I didn't mean to interrupt. Keep going.
No, you're good. You're good. Harley Quinn stuff.
What the fuck is that? Go up. Go up.
Oh wait.
This one?
No, go down the middle one.
That one?
That feels a little too kiddie to me to be fucking on a Harley Quinn book.
I was going to say that about the one below it.
For me, no, from the one below it, that feels more anime to me. This one right here feels like they're
very kawaii.
They're going after young kids.
Yeah, they're going
very
after
like
demographic, and and that's where the you know, the revenue comes in, their revenue stream. They're like, oh yeah, these people, we're looking at the data, and we see that this age group is really liking Harley Quinn, and we saw that these many people put up TikToks of how they dressed up as Harley Quinn for Halloween. So we're gonna make our own stuff because that's a lot of people want to be Harley Quinn. So yes, we'll give them more.
How's she gonna fuck shit up in high heels?
Hey,
you don't think that book is for sweatpant basement dwellers, dude? Because that's what I think as soon as I see it. And I'm not. I mean, that's not. No, bro. No.
Hey, look.
I don't even care what it is. I'm not buying that book and reselling it. I don't care what it goes for. I'm serious.
You're gonna buy it and keep it for yourself. Okay.
No, I'm not. I ain't buying. Period. Oh, Christ, get out! I'm done. I should probably go out.
Is that Momoko? Is that Momoko? Go back up.
No.
Whoa, what is she smoking? Is this whoa.
She's smoking a Superman pipe.
That's dope. I didn't notice that. Yeah. That is cool as shit. It's not very. I'm not a huge fan of the art, but I dig that.
This looks like
man coming out of the pipe.
Yeah.
Did the Justice League coming out of the pipe? Is that what you said?
So okay, so are we? Is it safe to assume that she introduces kryptonite to that strain of indica that she growing in that house?
DMT, brother.
I'm more worried about the art as far as like the bosom here. It looks like it's like a side profile.
It's an homage to Rob Liefeld, Captain America.
Is she like so you get that perfect boob shot?
Harley Quinn's face in this book is about 18, and her movies is about 54 years old. Man.
That Liefeld Captain America cover, I remember looking at that when that
wasn't a cover, bro. That the only place you can find that is in the Wizard issue, and I'm pretty sure about that. I'm not 99% sure, but I think the only place you can find that image is in the Wizard issue where they announce Heroes Reborn.
Yo, all I'm saying is when I saw that, when it came out, I was like, I don't know about me, but something about this don't look right.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
And then your covers for the new Crime Syndicate, where this book is catching a lot of heat right now because of the Black Hell Jordan they're introducing into it.
Whoa, wait, what?
Oh, wait a minute. So, okay, so that's Hal Jordan that's black, or is it...
that's Hal Jordan.
Oh, that's bullshit. I don't like that. I don't like that. Why do they got to do that? Why couldn't they just put
John Stewart?
Yeah, why couldn't they just put John Stewart in there? Why do they got to do that? Are they changing everybody? Are they making everybody different race?
Not that I'm aware of, but
why are they doing shit like this? I feel like doesn't it feel like this is just to grab stories and to be getting like listen, I think getting too woke. We're getting a little too woke sometimes.
I think it's almost to the borderline of pandering.
Yeah, it's pandering.
I think we should probably let this one come out and then we can comment on what.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't think we should be jumping the shark on anything.
Can I see that right quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. You can.
Okay. So I was talking with Corbin and Frank and all of them a while ago about an idea of a black Batman and him having to wear a full cowl because that just makes sense. Just from me being alive, that makes sense. And then the fact that they come out with a black Batman and he got a full cowl, I was like, oh, okay. So obviously what I'm thinking is making it makes sense to more people. Them doing that with like just changing somebody black, that I very much so understand what you're saying. And to me, I think that they shouldn't just take old characters and like, we're gonna make you a different color now.
They should create a whole new character for him.
Yeah, create a new character and set up, because representation is very important. Representation is very important. I got picked on as a kid because I wanted to be Superman for Halloween. And these kids was like, nah, you can't be Superman. You black. That don't make sense. and I wanted to be a Ghostbuster, and they were like, oh yeah, you could definitely do that because Ernie Hudson existed, and that really affected me on how I look at heroes and what heroes are. And I really like representation. I love Christopher Reeves as Superman. He was my Superman from way back in the day. Like, I loved him as Superman. I don't want to see nobody else but Christopher Reeves. Even still, Henry Cavill is doing a great job, but I want Christopher Reeves. That being said, if we're gonna just sit up there and do that, then we're missing the point. We're missing the point that people are trying to make. We want representation, like straight up representation. Let's add new heroes. Let's do a different somebody else that is taking up some mantle or being a different character in general. Like, I'm all for that.
And we talked a little bit about this, Adonis, where we had a lot of the same gripes when they did Miles.
Yeah.
Now, after Miles came out, and everyone was like, "Oh, wait a minute, this is the same but different."
Exactly.
So if they go that route, I think that they'll totally pull it off, and it'll be cool. Because now you look at Miles; he's got a couple different, he's got a couple other superhero powers that aren't the same as Spider-Man, but yet he is a Spider-Man. So even though they took the same character, they still developed him into his own character. So if they follow that route, they'll be okay. But again, just like everybody says, I mean, you're doing a disservice if you just copy it and just make them, gay, or just make them a different color, or you just make them something else instead of giving them their own direct character.
Yeah.
But in a way, you take that same character and make them a new revamped kind of character.
Exactly.
Still works.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Marco, sorry.
What do you think, Tim? You've been so chatty.
A new character is way better than like what Chad and Adonis were saying. A new character is way better than trying to reinvent the character that's already there.
Exactly.
You don't go and make Bruce Wayne a black man or a gay man to do that. You bring in somebody else to take on the mantle of Batman.
Exactly.
To do that.
Okay.
But isn't that a problem with DC? Is they don't have,
yes.
They lack creating new characters. It's just everybody takes up everybody's mantle.
Yeah. Okay. Not only just that, but every DC character. First off, before I even get into that, Lucy, what's going on? Comic Book Women. Check them out. Tuesdays, 9:00. By the way, if you didn't watch that last show, you're missing out. Now let's move on. Yeah, it was hot, dude. It was crazy. And by the way, I take baths too. So you want to play with people that take baths. I do it all the time. My body's sore. Dudes that work out take baths. Just let you know. As far as DC, their characters are all the same. The Green Arrow lost his dad and is a rich, spoiled brat kid that likes to see his little boy. Batman's the same way. Every single character they have is the exact same character. So if you put somebody in a different reality, just like they did with Mel O'Hare, and just what they did with in Marvel, what they did with Miles, it's cool. In my opinion, like that's Marco not the same person. I do so, bro. Dude, he's gonna try to get me cry. This is why, because I said I don't cry, and he had me laughing so hard last time. I was literally crying.
I totally picture Marco. He lights candles.
I do the hemp soap, and
he goes in there, man.
Dr. Brown's got the hemp soap.
Puts the cucumbers on his eyes.
As long as Kenny G is playing in the background, then I'm
So, Dr. Lovebox made the comment that Ultraman and them have been around and they're not new characters. They're correct. But the thing that's going on at the book is the fact that the introduction of the Black Hell Jordan into that group is what's driving that book. I want to show a couple more quick covers. Someone brought up
a quick point, Marco. Green Arrow and Batman are totally different people. One's wearing a black costume, one's in a green costume.
Yeah, that's about it. Like they have the same. Every story is the same in DC, and even with that,
their parents died.
And I get it. Like you don't always do good things. Like I don't. I mean, I have bought in a lot of the books the Lois Lane changing book, right? Like DC's done weird stuff before. They've done the drug book before. As speaking of Green Lantern, they've done the drug book before. I'm just saying, let them put it out there And if it's crap, well then cool, because that's what DC makes anyways. But if it's good, then we can we can let them go. But let's not criticize let's not put ourselves before the cart here.
And see that right there. Sorry, Matt.
No, go ahead, Don.
That right there is why I was talking about Simon Dark, because he was something that was very different from all of the stuff that was going on. Like literally everything that was happening in DC, Batman and fighting the Joker and all of everybody and Superman and everybody was happening on the street level. And he was underneath taking care of this stuff that happened underneath Batman's radar, and he did something which helped Batman later on in his whole storyline. But
what year did that come out? I'm sorry, what year did that come out? Now I'm digging. What is it? Show us a book. Get us something, because I'm going for the series. This is what I love. When you get people passionate about this stuff, I'm going for it, dude. Like, let me get that, because I'll pull that for $1.
While Adonis is pulling that up, let me show this. Someone mentioned Swamp Thing, the Swamp Thing cover in the chat.
Oh shit! Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. Okay, you did something right. Check mark.
Check
one.
That's Swamp
One
Thing
for
cover.
the win column.
It's sick. The other real sick cover. I'm gonna pull it down.
That's super. I like that a lot.
Check out this cover to Batman Black and White. I think this cover is super sick too. This will be the last kind of new DC stuff we touch on. Let me scrolling down to it right now.
We didn't do too bad without Corbin here.
Yeah, I'm just a fill-in, guys. Our normal DC dude will be back next week, but check out that cover to Batman Black and White.
Okay.
Yeah, I can live with that. Well, Adonis too didn't get the full wrath of I think we were light on him compared to what we usually do, because when my man C walks in, we really give it to him for liking DC so much. Hey, can I just address an issue with Man Cave real quickly? Listen, I've got 2 water heaters in my house. If you are stanky, you do not go into the main master suite bath. Don't do it. Don't do it. The main master suite bath is for a couple things. 1, your lady. Number 2, for you to soak it. And 3, something else we ain't going to talk about. That is not where you take your stinky man parts. That is for the other full, like that's for the one down here. You walk in that door, you walk into that first one, you wash yourself out so you're not sitting in your own stink. That's how that works, really. Just so you know, that's how that works.
All right. Thank you very much for that.
Basic hygiene is
amazing tutorial on bathing yourself.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We're back, and this is how you wash your crack. All right, let's go to Marco. Marco, take it from here.
Well, what you do is you start with a big vat.
Hey, your name ain't Margo, dude.
Oh, wait. Sorry, wrong track.
Oh, man.
What do we got on that cover? Do we got that cover?
That's why I'm like, I thought I saved it somewhere, but it ain't showing me. Hold on.
Who can bring it up?
Well, while Don's looking into that, guys, I want to thank everyone in the chat tonight. The chat has been absolutely fire as always. We've got 84 strong in here right now. If you're having a good time, hit that like button. Show us some love. Let's have a good time. Yep. Did I buy you enough time, Adonis? Yes? No?
Yes. Share screen.
Come to the only show that can teach you about how to bathe your parts and clean your comics.
But not at the same time.
Right, you know I'm all hopped up on Benny's because of the allergies and everything else. They got me going tonight. They started off with grown men crying at a TV show, so I've been raw all day long.
No, we started off with you yelling at the Postal Service.
Yeah,
stop that! No, stop that! I don't.
By the way,
that's a dope
Brian,
cover.
If you get some hate mail.
Oh yeah, you can direct that right to the trash can.
Yeah, you've got some hate mail coming, Brian. We've been telling everyone who's got an issue with Marco to direct their hate mail towards you. So you probably got some interesting emails heading your way.
Mm-hmm. Dude, those are cool covers, man.
Yeah.
What year is this?
The artwork was definitely what drew me in. Shoot, I don't know when Simon.
No pun intended.
Yeah, pun intended.
2007.
Yep.
Simon Dark, huh? Those are dope.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this run. I think I have all of them, like I said before. And he's just.
So we're around Marvel Civil Year periods. Like, is that where we're looking? I just try to think like when you're going to auctions and when you're digging through boxes.
Gotcha.
We're looking around a little bit after Civil War, like towards the extensions.
J.J. Maxwell says 2007.
Maxwell, what else was out during that? Marvel had what? Civil War was finishing up at that time. And then what was the big crossover event for DC? I wonder. All right, cool. I'm definitely looking
for dope covers. I'm going to keep my eye out for those. I never even heard of them.
Yeah, because at that point, that's when so 07 is when I moved to AZ, and I was doing going to school for concept art and everything like that. And my homie introduced me to Ash Comics, and that's when that came out. And he bought all of those, and I just read all of those, and I was like, "Whoa, this is cool." And that's when I started to go outside of the normal Marvel DC universe and focusing more so on the Image and Radical and Boom and Dark Horse and things like that.
Well, I like some of those covers and the way they did the whole what was his name, Bob, Buffalo Bob, skin Leatherface, kind of crazy looking. Like that stuff's really creepy to me. So that cover alone is just like, whoa, that's like some dark, that's some twisted stuff.
It's definitely kind of looks like box art for The Purge.
Yeah, that does a little bit.
Invite to Raid was asking for us to show the Teen Titans Academy cover. There's the cover that's the only cover in the solicitation right now for the Teen Titans
Okay.
What the hell? He blew up his Red X throwing stars. They look kind of like jacks, like he's going to play, the old ball and jacks game, like he's going to bounce it.
I think you're only thinking that because of the apple that's in there.
Yeah, it could be.
Because, I saw those and I honestly thought of crosses, and I was like, oh, okay, we're going to testify and repent and everything like that, and then we'll go forward. Okay.
Forgive me, Father, I have sinned. It has been 2 weeks since my last confession. I went out
doesn't wash his crack.
I went out dressed.
Hey, you guys are talking. You must be talking about DC because now you're talking about confessing stuff and men and boys. It's got to be Batman and Robin sleeping in the same bed, dude. It's got to be that.
No, we're talking Red X.
Hey, look,
we're talking about Luke picking out the sister.
When you say it like that, I automatically think of the whole Michael scandal and everything like that. Look, Damian and Tim Drake, they're going to come out and be like, look, they're going to do the same Macaulay Culkin thing and be like, look, I don't remember that. I was fine. We just sat there and had some food. We watched some movies. It was all good. And then I went home.
Oh, you're talking about Michael, like, hee, Michael.
Hey,
all right.
Oh, man.
Y'all are trying to get me a cry tonight. All right.
I want to touch real quick before we move on in a book too that came out this week that has a lot of buzz about it that kind of came out of nowhere, and that's Solid Blood 17.
This
is a very interesting book. It's from Robert Kirkman, Ryan Otley.
Make yourself big, Matt, and show that again.
It's interesting for a lot. Oh, I just made Adonis big.
Hi, Adonis. Hi.
Welcome, Adonis. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Solid Blood 17 from Robert Kirkman and Ryan Otley. And it's interesting because it comes with a pitch that I don't know if we've ever seen in comics before, as Kirkman is playing it off as a book from another universe. He says that it's a book that full of ideas and characters that him and Ryan Otley have talked about but have never done anything with, and that a palette of this book just showed up at Image headquarters, and so they were like, all right, well, we're just going to distribute it then. And it went to comic shops for free. The retailers didn't have to pay for it. It just showed up on their order list. Your local shop got as many copies of this as they ordered from Robert Kirkman's other new book. The name of it is
Invincible. I thought it was the last order of Invincible.
Nope, it's not. It's what was it? The name of the book is drawing a blank on me. It's his new, like, I call it Iron Fist ripoff. God, I can't think of the name of it. Somebody in the chat will help out. Firepower.
Firepower.
It comes off of they got. However, it depended on how many orders of Firepower #1 they got. That's how many of these books they got. There are still some out there in the wild. I saw a bunch of them today going for about $10. They're selling about 15 to 30 on eBay right now. If you're looking to go with those, and it's kind of cool. It's supposedly from a universe where Robert Kirkman was never. The Walking Dead didn't make it past a year.
Damn.
So The Walking Dead didn't make it past a year. Robert Kirkman left comics, and this is kind of his return to comics in Solid Blood. It features Michonne in it, and it's kind of interesting because Michonne it actually was when Robert Kirkman created that character. It was created for another series that he was going to do that never got picked up. So he said, "All right, well, we're just going to bring her into the Walking Dead," and he kind of threw her in there. So it's interesting because it comes with it starts off at issue 17. I wasn't a big fan of it. I didn't think it was good. But it's also one of those books where it starts in the middle of everything. So you're kind of just picking up in the middle of everything. It's like you've never read a comic book before. Like you just jumped into a story arc. So to me, it was
issue 17.
Right, like your issue 17. It was a little rough going for me, but I think that there's a lot of promise here, especially if they do more. Like there's already a solicitation for 18 in the back of this book. I don't think we'll ever see 18, but I think just the mystery around this book is what's making it very sellable right now, because it's got like I said, Kirkman left Image. Donny Cates is in this book listed as Image's PR consultant. You've got Rob Liefeld is still a partner with them in the credits to this book. So there's a lot of stuff around this book that's super interesting. And
there's no feet on the cover.
What I loved personally about this book is, the paper you get all around those modern books is that like wavy, just glossy new paper. This book is actually printed on the classic old school comic book paper.
Whoa.
Like it's a beautiful, it's just a beautiful thing to me. So
that's cool.
It's a book that if you can find it in the wild and not pay over the eBay prices for it, you can probably flip it, hold on to it, and who knows what's going to happen with this book. And I think just the sheer way this book has been pitched and came out of nowhere is enough to kind of have a market for it for a while to come.
I like the retitled name that JJ.
Yeah, there we go.
Robot Kirkman has run out of ideas. Yeah,
Robert Kirkman. Yeah.
All right.
Robot. I am Robot Kirkman. I am Robot Kirkman.
I said Robot Kirkman because I'm looking at the cover of it and I'm just like, okay.
The Robot Kirkman is his new title.
Robot Kirkman.
But other than Donny Cates, is there anyone in comics that can get away with something like this? Just like dropping a book and being like, "Hey, this is from a different universe," and the whole like.
Well, what has me confused is how the fuck a pallet of books just show up out of nowhere. Like I Dream of Jeannie just showed up, just twinkle, twinkle, twinkle. Hey, look at what we found.
Alternate universes, man.
That's get a lot of independent artists, comic book writers should do.
Yeah.
So Michonne is actually a character in this called the Sword Fighter, and she gets smashed up real quick.
JJ said, "Wait, you gotta give spoilers." JJ hasn't read it yet. JJ, turn it off for like 2 minutes. Come back in.
Yeah, you can still read it, but like this isn't really a spoiler because it's been everywhere. But that's Michonne right there. She's the sword fighter. She's dead by a character called the Necromancer. The rest of it, I'll let you read. I won't spoil any more of it.
So they said they had Rob in there too.
He's listed in here as still a member of the Image staff. So if you open up,
yeah, I bet you he cried when Luke showed up too, bro.
He's listed as the chief creative officer, and Donny Cates is the PR and marketing consultant. But
I waited 2 hours for that joke. Come on, bro.
There's a lot of like this book has a lot of hidden gems in it, and especially like the comment section or the letters to the editor section. There's a lot of stuff that can be found in there that breaks this down, but they could still be found out there. Like I said, they can still be found out there in the wild. $10 is about their going price. It's a good going price, I guess, for a book that they didn't have to pay for. Shops didn't have to pay for, but if you can go and find it for $10 in your shop, I think that's a steal versus the $30 it's going for on eBay right now. So,
no, that's cool. That's actually cool that they gave something. I mean, look, man, that's cool. Like, not all the Kirkman stuff hits in my books, but like that's kind of cool that they did that. That's nice. It's good payout.
Well, I just think the mystique behind it is what makes it so cool, and like they're plotting this whole like different universe of comics that are out there. But
what Kirkman should do is he should write this book about all these characters that cross over. And it's like they come into the real world.
And they mispronounce artists' names in it.
Yes.
It's funny.
That's what they should do.
Hey, but
I think you'd be onto something.
Hey, I bet if you send them some bath salts, they could all get together and then they could discuss that idea and they might be able to come up with something good.
The other book that is I find spec worthy this week, real quick, is going to be Thor #5, first appearance of the female Loki. It's still pretty cheap on eBay. I think I saw one up there today for like $10. But this clip right here from the Loki TV show trailer has people speculating that this is Black Widow. But there's also a lot of talk that it's going to be female Loki. So I think if you can get this book now, it's going to be a steal for when that show hits and people catch on to that female Loki thing, because people love to cosplay the female Loki right now. It's a huge character.
That's
in the
what
circle.
I like the cosplay as.
Yeah, female Loki. Mm-hmm. It's a huge character in the cosplay community and the con circuit, and I think that once she makes her appearance in the show, that book is going to explode. So if you can still get them for cover price, or even, I'm sure, cheaper that in some dollar bins, depending on what Marco truck you just decided to go dig in the back
That's what I
of.
was saying. When Marco goes and gets shit off the back of a truck, I'll take 2.
So
I'm finding it now. That's why I'm looking at. Make sure you take your pictures. But yeah, I'm definitely getting off the back of that truck.
Yeah, there you go. So
I don't care. Hey, look, you got to hustle harder sometimes, dude. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, look. Hey, you on your grind on regular. That's it.
Yep. That's how you get it. Man, that's cool. Is that cool? I don't know. Whatever. It's money. It's always cool.
I think it's cool because it's still a book that I think can explode in price for people who are looking for that hit. And female gender bent stuff sells, man. It's just the way it is.
It does. Like whatever you do, don't get up and yell in the middle of a Diamond Distributing how people aren't giving you the right characters, because those things will hit, man. Like it's been proven time over time that you can like it or not. Not everything, on the Star Wars show, we always say Star Wars is for everybody. Not all of Star Wars is for me, especially crying over Luke. But like, that's it right there. Like that's something that has hit. We've seen it in the past. We saw it with Miles. We saw it with a lot of these characters now that they keep bringing out. I mean, cons and kids tell you a lot about what's going to be popular in the next 10 years. And if you don't believe it.
Brian messaged me that he cried.
He doesn't want to talk about it. Yeah.
Brian doesn't talk about crying at Luke.
He didn't mess
cried when he saw Luke.
Oh, when I was a kid? Fuck yeah, dude.
No. We're talking about
yesterday.
Hey, dude. I quit going to school because I didn't like recess. I don't play games. You're not going to see me crying, bro. You're not going to see me crying, bro. Like, listen. There's something about being a man these days. Something about being a man these days.
Where were you 2 hours and 40 minutes ago when the chat was killing me because I said you don't cry at a TV show? You got a lot of emails saying that. I say that Marco
cry at MASH. Yeah. I will always cry at MASH. There is an exception. That shit is
okay.
bad.
So before my daughter came, I cried at TV shows. I cried at movies. Now that she's here, I'm crying watching Care Bears. Okay, like this is a real thing. Like I very much so am okay with tapping into my emotions. I ain't got no problem.
No. In all honesty, bro, I've done heroic doses of mushrooms and DMT, so I'm good with crying.
No. Time out. No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with crying whatsoever, man. I almost cried when my wife walked down the aisle. It was a beautiful moment. I almost cried when my dad passed away. It was really sad. What I'm saying is, if you're watching a TV show, something fictional,
If you see Luke Skywalker walking up,
Yeah, if you see Luke Skywalker doing a bad remake of his dad doing something he did 5 years ago, I'm not crying for it. And I'll make it fun of you if you do.
I ain't gonna cry for Luke Skywalker, but I will cry for
Care Bears.
you know,
Told us.
I will cry for old girl Targaryen. You know what I'm saying? Like when she popped, I was like, oh.
Well, that's because Game of Thrones is real. Like it's based on history.
That shit really happened. You gotta. I mean, that tear up any man.
You just threw that softball up.
You can't just let
That's because Game of Thrones is written about real shit.
No, look, hey, don't get
really
twisted. I'm all for crying. Like being obviously, I get emotional over talking about this stuff. Like it's emotional. I understand that. I'm just saying, like, dude, I'm not.
You gotta hit him with that meme look.
You gotta go hard. Is that it? You
I'll
gotta
have
go
to get
hard.
the picture Brian sent me of him crying.
Turn the switch. You gotta go hard.
Oh, you can go on the YouTubes. There's lots of people on the YouTubes crying on the YouTubes.
Look, you know what?
And Princess Diana didn't even die today, man. I don't understand it.
Yo, like Luke is cool and everything like that, but tears, I don't think that. I'm with you. I don't think it's necessary. Like Look, okay, yes, I was under the influence of sativa, but at the same time, I was like, hey, you know, this is a very emotional part right now, but that not my tear ducts, not that emotion.
Well, I don't know if I believe you because we all know that sativa is for pussies.
Yep, I was waiting for you to say that.
Oh no, I'm just joking.
Hey, this too.
Well, I want to say this. I did cry, right, the other day, laughing at one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time. That I'm going to share with you guys.
Well, I'm ready.
Here we go.
Marco in the bathtub. Here it comes.
Hold on.
Nobody wants to see that, dude. That's personal time. Leave that alone.
Yeah, this shit's crazy, dude. I just gotta. Well, actually, go ahead until I find it. Somebody take. Somebody.
If you show a Care Bear stare, and all of a sudden Adana starts crying, man.
I'm doing. I'm just. Hey,
like the way their tummies get all glowy, and they're all like.
You show me a man that says they don't cry at the end of Marley and Me, and I'll show you a goddamn liar. All right.
Is that that's a show about a dog? I'm definitely not crying, dude.
Hey,
Me neither.
I cried. I cried at My Girl, you know what I'm saying, with Macaulay Culkin when he was in the funeral. I was like,
Look, in that movie, you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. You want to play around with the beans.
Adonis cried when when Leonardo DiCaprio fell off into the water.
Yo, look,
wait, do you all clap at the end of the movies too?
I cried several times that Leonardo DiCaprio died. Like every time he died in the movie, I cried.
Yeah, I will 100% admit that I stood up and gave a resounding round of applause at the end of Avengers: Infinity War when Thanos sat down on the porch after wiping everybody out.
Who can fucking hear you? Nobody can hear you. What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Why are you clapping in a movie theater? Nobody can. People who did the performance can't fuck. Like, look, if you go to the opera, yeah, dude, clap all you want. You go to the theater, I got it. Clap all day long. You go to a movie theater, what the fuck are you clapping for?
I enjoyed myself.
That you did, but that just because you.
That's what I'm clapping for is because I enjoyed myself.
Don't.
Seriously, when I saw Thanos on the porch there and he's just sitting up there like
chilling.
I got reminiscent of like post ass whooping interaction with.
We got double Brian McClay up in
Dude, that's badass.
Exactly.
I cried after the Matrix. No, I didn't.
Yo, for real. Oh my gosh, I cried then.
All right, did you cry when he shot Old Yeller?
No, dude. I was mad as hell. I was like, I'm gonna whoop that dude's ass, and I was like, hey, is it just me or is it?
Yeah,
like, I don't get it. I don't understand why they care about these damn dogs.
Oh, hey! I get it. Like real life stuff, you should cry. You should have all the emotions in the world. This is what we should enjoy. It's fantasy. We shouldn't be. I mean, I've never.
All right, you guys.
That is so funny.
This is what we're gonna cry at right now, everybody.
This is what we're gonna do.
So this.
All right, I'm gonna take a break.
This is good stuff. Now, I give my dog, admittedly, RSO every night. It has worked wonders for my dog. It doesn't work wonders for L Dog. So, I'm not saying this is something you should do to your dog, but this shit is fucking funny.
This was great.
Guess whose bitch ass got into the trash and ate them? Can you tell who? Can you tell? Jinx.
Dog is fucking stoned as fuck.
Jinx ate them.
That can actually really
she
jack your
never
dog up.
It can,
digs in
but
the trash.
listen to
Never
this.
has the trash and found an edible that I threw away. Called the doctors. The edible was pretty, there was no chocolate in it or anything.
The chocolate is more dangerous.
Threw up a little bit. I said,
That dog's like 4 pounds, guys.
through. But I'm just a little worried because this bitch is high.
Oh man.
And
If anybody wants to look this up, it's called Jinx the Dog.
for real.
Oh, I remember when this dropped.
Oh my god.
I sat here and I thought, wow.
So here's the update.
Let them know. She's ashamed. She's ashamed. And I'm just.
So that was my brother came down. I heard my brother laughing so goddamn hard the other day. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you laughing at? And he could not catch his breath to tell me what it was.
Dude, the dog's like.
So
It's almost
we
got
all,
like a stupid smirk
we
on
all
its
went
face.
camping, and a bunch of my friends are growers in Colorado, and they made a giant tub of butter, and they were cooking vegetables on the grill. There's a private land with disc golf course and stuff that we camp at up there, and they had basted all the vegetables and all this stuff because they were making like a big just chopped up vegetable platter of it, and they were basting all the vegetables in their weed butter, and the dogs had gotten under where it bled through on the grease and everything, and just sat and licked it all up. Lewis was throwing up all night and couldn't walk, and he's a pit bull. I mean, he was the biggest wussy you ever meet, and dude, they got sick as hell. Like, it was dangerous sick. It got them jacked up.
Yeah, you have to monitor them very closely at that point because they can go into shock. So it's no joke. It's no joke, but that shit was fucking funny. That shit. We know the dog is okay. The dog's okay. So now we can laugh at it. But anyways, so I figured
all you Colorado peeps in your damn butter.
Yeah, I want to remind everybody again to like, subscribe, hit the bell. There's a lot of amazing shows on this channel, just like this one. So make sure you guys check them all out. We have a week away from Christmas. So happy holidays to everybody. And we're hoping to do some type of New Year's extravaganza, some type of thing on the channel. So we're kind of working that out. So hopefully, I know it's some people in some parts of the country right now. I mean, they not only can they not go to the bars, they can't go anywhere. So maybe we can do something to kind of get all us comic fans together on YouTube one of these on New Year's Day or something like that, or the day after New Year's. I think the first is Friday. So Saturday night, you guys, you can come right here, Modern Comic Mayhem, hang out with the boys, enjoy a couple drinks, and have some fun. And so I just want to remind everybody, happy holidays, and tell the people that you love them. So,
For real.
all right.
I'm gonna cry.
And I'll give you a round of applause for it in a movie theater.
And as a captive audience, as Brian said, they can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I like
Hey,
a
Tim,
cat
have you got any
volume.
cool pickups lately with comics? I know you got a pretty cool comic shop where you live. I know your fucking comic book store owner's always hooking you up.
No, I haven't got anything recently. I'm still, I'm waiting on one book to come back from CGC. It's ASM 9 that I picked up. And other than that, I haven't been.
Did the store owner tell you it was an 8.0 and it comes back a 5.5?
Buyer beware, man.
Yeah.
I mean, really, buyer beware. But no, they didn't.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Just got to know your grades.
Do you, Tim? Do you grade books that are that you know are going to come back as low grade?
For my Spider-Man collection, like the older books, yes, I do. Just so they don't deteriorate anymore, just to get them encapsulated.
Well, here's the funny thing, and I we have some really big Golden Age collectors on this channel that watch this channel, part of the channel, and I've heard different things. I've heard that Golden Age books need to breathe. And that's why a lot of Golden Age guys do use those the My Lights that have the open top for Golden Age and Silver Age, certain Silver Age books, because supposedly they need to breathe. And I'm not a Golden Age guy, admittedly. I don't know about that.
What
but
they say is because of the type of paper they used at the time.
Yeah.
Huh. See, I don't have I only have one graded book, and it's not even. I don't even have it. I bought She-Hulk #1 for my daughter.
Nice.
And so exactly. I was just like, shoot, one of my friends, he came across it, and it's I think it's a 9.0 She-Hulk #1, and I was just like, shoot, yeah, I'll get it. That's for her. She's gonna be 2 next month, so I'm just like, hey, you can look at it. Please don't touch, baby. You know what I'm saying? But like, I've been thinking about whether or not I should send some books to get graded. The other day, I was bin diving at a Bookman's, and I found a Spectacular #1. It's like, to me, it looks like a 3, but like, I would do it just because of the fact that it's mine now and I have this, and not for anything. Like, that's the only reason why, is to get it encapsulated so it doesn't deteriorate. But if the best route is to put it into like one of the hard cases that is open, then I'll do that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what's funny is some of us have said in the past the same thing that you just said, that we're just gonna get books graded that we like. We don't care what it comes back as. After about 4 or 5 of those, then you start caring. Yeah.
Yep. I care now.
Yeah.
I've learned that lesson. I care now.
Solo, you're muted. Whatever you're doing, we can't even hear a word you're saying. Oh, and then he knocks himself out.
Sorry.
I care as well, but my low number Spider-Man books, I like to try to take really good care of.
Here, yeah,
that makes sense.
So this is what, so like I do funny, like, look, man, when you going through a lot of books, and I like what Mandy said, low grade's better than no grade. I'm a fan. If you guys aren't part of Nico's group, not the Nico from this channel, but the other Nico, the one that shows nipples, low grade comics, go check it out. They do a lot of low grade stuff there and got me into it. And when I was finding books, I always would read the labels of what they came back. I think Solo Wookiee's kind of doing the same thing. So if you guys don't mind,
I'm part of that low grade.
I love that.
Group.
I love that group.
That dude Nico's, he's cool as fuck.
He's legit, dude. Yeah. So here we go. So this one right here is a Daredevil. It was a lot that I did. It's a 1.0. It shouldn't even be rated 1.0. I'll read the grader notes. You could probably figure out why this got a 1.0. Yeah. So I keep this book. This is like a book that I don't put in the safe. I don't get it out of the house. Like, I keep this book around because I love this book so much.
Yeah.
And the grader notes on it are extra staples added after manufacturing, tape on cover. And you can see, like, this is all taped right here. Like, this is completely, you can't see. There you go. It's completely taped right here. They added a bunch of staples. This should have been green labeled. And since I get so many green labels, I just think it's funny, the label that they put on this. And I didn't ask it to be a certified label either, which is kind of interesting. So, I mean, like, look, dude, like, that's what, I mean, aren't we collectors too? Like, if you're selling, that's cool. If you're just a seller, a flipper, whatever you want to call them, that's cool. But like, I am a collector too. So like to find these weird labels where they're like, we gave you a 1.0, but it literally says extra staples added after manufacturing and tape on cover. That pretty much qualifies as restored if I've ever seen restored in my life before. And, but hey, dude, you gave me a 1.0 on this. I'm never going to sell it. I love it. It came out of a collection that had a lot of great other books, a lot of great ASM early stuff in it. And like, that's low grade's better than no grade, I guess. And
Yeah,
that goes right up there with like the crazy ex-girlfriend CGC copy of Amazing Spider-Man.
Speaking of that low grade group,
Batman, because it's the first Batman under 100 I ever owned, and it's the only one I own, and it's an 82. It's not even a big book or anything, but I can't believe I got a 1.5. I was expecting a no grade or a 0.5. It's just like Marco's book. It's taped. The ends of it are coming completely off. It's rolled. You can see where they glued it. It's destroyed. But I wanted to preserve as much of it as I could.
Yeah, I got some cool Golden Age books. That's the reason why I've never sent them to be graded. Not so they can breathe, but just getting that super low grade because of stuff like that. It's all chipped and it's, but they're cool. They're cool Golden Age books. They're cool horror Golden Age books.
Yeah, I've thought about looking that book up a time or two, and every time I'm just like, nah, I really don't care. It's probably like a $2 book.
It's your $2 book.
Yeah, exactly.
What were you going to say about that group, Marco?
Yeah. So I got you. So one good, cool part about that book, about that low grade, and Kyle will probably know this too. They had the guy who that book was done was in that group, and he was a jerk, by the way, and he deserved everything he got for that low grade ex-girlfriend book. Like like, hey, look, man, you don't treat women like that. You don't treat anybody the way he was treating people, because you could tell because of how he was acting to people in that chat. So definitely check out that thing. Sorry, let's go. I think Mr. Blake's got something for us to see. What do we got?
Oh, it was. This is the one that I found bin diving.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
First tarantula.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Spider Spectacular #1. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Solid pickup.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, okay, well, I'm good. I don't need anything else today.
Yeah, dude, that's cool, man. I love those, man. I just love the stories of people finding stuff, man. Like, it's so cool. Like, what he just did right there, where he's so stoked he ran over to grab it real quickly, or Solo Wookie for 5 minutes talking without his mic on and showing us the book, and we not know why the hell he's showing because he's so excited. Like, isn't that what we do this for? Like, I get it, man. The money's good. Like, I ain't lying. The money, I can't lie about. The money is good, except for when eBay's screwing up your stuff and they're sending back $3,200 worth of shit. But like, it's good money. But at the same time, like, half of this, I'd started doing it just so I could buy books that I couldn't afford at the time, dude. And like, I love seeing people find stuff all the time, dude, or having great sales, man. It's cool, man. It's just cool.
That's how I'm not I don't flip. I don't sell on eBay. I just buy because I'm a collector.
Yeah, I mean,
no, Matt just always threatens it.
I do threaten it constantly, but I never do it. I'm gonna sell my collection, man. I'm gonna
sell everything. Sell.
Yeah. I'm sure every comic collector has gotten to that point where you got so many boxes. You're like, man, this is just taking up so much. I'm just gonna sell them. I'm just gonna sell them all and move them on about my day. But I just can't do it.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Put 'em in my
If
garage,
if I die, call my girlfriend or knock on my front door, because she will sell you all this shit real damn cheap. She don't give a fuck. She's like, $2.
Can I put a deposit down?
Is there a
signature on the cover of it? That means it's worth less, right?
Is that so? If we start a Solo Wookie death pool, is that the prize?
There you go. I need some more Star Wars books. I need a third or fourth copy of a couple of them. So
I need all my Star Wars books back.
Yeah, you got a certain first appearance Boba Fett that Kyle wants back.
Yeah,
real bad.
Oh, God.
You really want that book back, Kyle? I'll give you one.
No.
You sure? I'll send you. You still haven't got a Christmas gift yet. I'll send you one.
Fuck
Give me your address.
Yeah.
All right, I'll send you one. It would be good grade too. You look at it and be like, wow, this is sweet.
Where's Brian keep going?
I don't know. He keeps falling off.
I want to circle back.
Is Ultra coming on?
Can we talk about the thing, Eric? I don't know if Eric's still in there. Well, you want to circle back to something else. I was going to talk about the distribution thing because everybody has this question.
Well, I was going to too, but I was going to talk more about printing and the printing errors that DC's been dealing with, and how everyone praised them for leaving Diamond and going to these new companies, and now their books are just filled with printing errors. But you go ahead. I think your thing's a little bit more interesting.
So it came up, and I'm not going to give a why Eric asked me this question. He asked me a personal question about something he was trying to track down in a certain time period. Which book might have come out first to outside of distribution, come to like the actual shops or the newsstands first. And we were talking about it, and then all of a sudden we got into like the distribution wars. Maximus is about to hop on a red eye. Good luck with that. But I found it kind of interesting, and we started going off, and I was probably supposed to be going to bed, and I was like, dude, I'm going to go to bed, but let me just tell you really quickly about distribution. These are the things I found fun, because like back in the day when cons were slow, like all you got to do, oh, you're welcome, Eric. A lot of stuff you got to do was talk about this type of stuff, and distribution wars were huge in the 2000s, because by 2000, like Diamond took it over and got a monopoly. But you got to remember, like, and this is like a big part of it too, like everybody wants to talk. I'm looking down and seeing all the chats. So I got to stop doing that. Everybody wants to talk about newsstands and how rare they were. But you got to remember, the independent distributors, the people that would go to candy shops, that would go to drugstores, the people that would go to do the racks that are at your grocery store and everything like that, they had their own distribution system called the Independent Distribution Center. It works out like much other distributions. We're not going to do the flow chart to explain about how different things get distributed.
Yeah, we already declined one of your
PowerPoint presentations. I got it, but it's another one.
You can bail whenever you want, Tim. Just say later. It's cool.
Later, guys. I appreciate you having me on. I got to get up pretty early in the morning, and it's getting late on the East Coast here.
Yes, it is. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, so you're getting
Marco's bitch all the time.
Yeah, you're giving me one of those Lumen droids for like $1,000, right? I got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
No. Good to see you, Tim. Thanks for coming on the show, man. Hey, where can people find you?
Well, you can. His page has been pretty dead because there hasn't been much going on, but at hr.chopper on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook is his page, and there's going to be a lot more to come. I'm kind of getting into printing and selling props, so I think it's going to be a store here coming pretty soon.
Nice, like some Aja Ventress hilt handle.
I need a new Star Wars hilt. I lost mine.
Yeah, it's like all kinds of stuff. You never know. Could get a dark saber.
Oh yeah.
I need a new Kylo Ren hilt. I lost mine.
The best lightsaber, by the way, isn't Luke's. It's Raven's multicolored purple saber. Just so everybody knows.
I got to bail before Marco ropes me in.
Hey Tim, come on my Star Wars show sometimes. You're always welcome. All right, bro.
I appreciate it, guys. Later,
dude. Because I know Tim says the solo doesn't know enough, so
we'll break it down. He's right on my level, dude. I love this shit. All right, Tim.
Later, Tim.
Later, guys.
All right, so distribution. Like when everybody always asks, because they're always like newsstand this, newsstand that. Like, yeah, cool, I get it. Newsstand collectors, I get it. You're gonna murder me, so I don't care. But like, really think like newsstand was the gold standard even through most of the 70s. You didn't start getting direct till like the post 70s because Underground Comics came out in the 70s, and they had no distribution network for these little small independent, and Underground was pretty popular back then. So all these little like places started setting up to distribute it. And I'm not saying all of them were legit distributors. I am from the area where the Teamsters Union was. Like, I get what was going on. I'm just saying this stuff was happening, and they set up
so many bootleg Ninja Turtles.
They all start setting up these hubs. Well, after that, so then you kind of get it to like the 80s where they're like, listen, the marketplace for these underground comics kind of started taking a fall off towards the end of the 70s. And some of the little small independents were like, okay, I can't distribute anymore. There's no more money in it. So a couple guys decided to consolidate it. But they also said, listen, we want to start doing direct to market. So cut out the ID, because what ID was at the point where they didn't want to sell direct to market because if they sold it, they were scared that at the discounted prices, what was going to happen were, because newsstands, you could send them back, all the unsold copies, and you could get a refund. And what they were scared what was going to happen was they were going to take their small amount, sell it to one of these distributors, these unaccredited underground distributors, and those people were going to go back and get the refund and take the money that they would have actually got. So they're like, we're not selling to you guys. We're not doing anything else. So what they decided to do, and it wasn't Diamond, it was somebody else, and it was Seagate, I think, that actually did it. But like either way, they decided to go directly to DC, Marvel, and go like, hey, listen, guys, can we buy directly from you and we'll distribute? We have this distribution network that was already set up for undergrounds. Can we do it? Now, with that being said, the advantage of doing that in the late 70s and early 80s was they could get the books to market faster. And when people were out there trying to buy books, they wanted you wanted it faster. So there was no Wednesday Warrior at that time. There was no Wednesday comic book day. There was no free comic book day. There was just who could ever get it first. And newsstands were getting probably about 2 weeks later. You'd also have the damaging issue, obviously, because the collector culture really started going off at that point. So to have these new distribution markets were really good. By the mid 80s, they started doing it regionally because it got to be big money. Like Michigan, we had a Detroit one. Detroit was covered by Donahue, I think. And then like Big Rapids covered like the rest of it. So we had two, and they'd have like little small hubs everywhere. Now, if you're a comic book store that's close, and this is what the conversation was about. If you have a comic store that's close to the distributor, you could either get it picked up or the distributor could give it to you. So you would get that book before anybody else. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to beat the newsstand and the other shops, the specialty shops that were trying to sell it. So it's very hard to say, like when they say it's a distribution day of, let's say, January 1st, and you're like, wait, back in 1992, January 1st was on a Tuesday. How could that be the actual sale day? Well, that's because like it was when it was supposed to hit. These books could have gotten first to market, not first to print, but first to market before another book, depending on what book the distributor got and how popular that book was at the time to get it out. So if a certain book had a ad in it, like a jeweler's ad or something, and you wanted the first jeweler as the ad, and it turned out to be a popular book at the time, kind of like the Star Wars book or something like that, which was popular at the time, then the Star Wars book would be first, or Spider-Man or Batman. That book obviously would hit the rack first because the individual distributors at that time would supersede the newsstand and would supersede any other small distributor, not just regionally, but throughout, because there was probably about 20 big distributors at the time. Now, a lot of those distributors got bought out and they started doing these conglomerates where it became major regionals, like Michigan lost their 3 distributors. It became one. They formed something called they formed like a union for the distributors. And that's when they actually put the guy who's in charge of Diamond. He, I think in like 98, 99 was in charge of the union. They set standards when you're going to start dropping your books, when everything's going to go like this. And then the 90s hit and you start to see a consolidation. These big hubs pretty much became 3 or 4 major distributors, and they bought up all the small regional ones, and they would just keep like buildings in the regionals. You'd still get it a little bit further afterwards. And then Marvel eventually went out and bought its own distributor. It bought one of the big distributors. It probably bought the 3rd or 4th biggest distributor and started direct distributing by themselves in the 90s. Just remember, Marvel started to go bankrupt at a certain point. And this might be some of it. And this is kind of what you see with DC, having their own individual distributor at this point. So you see Diamond then buying up the rest of the small ones. They bought up probably the 3rd biggest one. You still had number 2 was still there, but they probably bought the 3rd biggest distributor at the time, probably number 5 and 6 too. So they were getting to be probably one of the big dogs. And eventually Marvel distributing their own book, because when they did that, it gave Diamond the opportunity. Because, like, look, man, you lost Marvel. So all you had left was DC and these independents, which was great because at the time, you could send out Dark Horse and Image. The problem with that was Dark Horse and Image now had a distributor because you lost Marvel. So all these small distributors started ordering big stacks of these books to try to get them to market. So when you see these, like, signings with people who draw Captain America's chest, like, huge, right? You got to remember, newsstand and distribution, you can't return direct edition, direct market distribution books. You can return newsstands. So when they're saying like there's these huge counts on it, yeah, they were sitting in these warehouses. They weren't getting out. And that's kind of what saturated the market and kind of killed the market and ended up putting a lot of these distributors out of business completely. At that point, Diamond went out and bought a lot of them. And eventually the Marvel distribution, even though because you could mail and send it in, but their actual direct distribution didn't quite work out for them either because they had no other competition to sell in the market. And Diamond by 2000s ended up taking over the whole thing. But the important part is just to remember, look, you're going to mid 80s and almost into the 90s, and newsstand is still outperforming. There's way more newsstands out there in the mid 80s than there is, well, probably like up to like 83-ish, 84-ish, than there is actual direct editions. The direct editions in the 70s and 80s were way rarer than the actual newsstands. Now, that's not the question he asked, but that's where it ended up feeding into. And I broke it down a little quicker. I could give a big history lesson with whiteboards behind me.
Someone in your room.
Yeah. Like we're all in school.
We're going to need to see a PowerPoint on that.
Yeah, we're not going to do a PowerPoint. And then, but it's just funny because it's ironic because in the 90s, what you see happening with Marvel, you now see happening with DC. And you're kind of like, that didn't quite work there. I mean, it killed some of the market. You know, it just didn't seem to work. And I think you kind of like see the same. It's just like comics, you know, they rehash stuff all the same time in comics. Well, apparently they do it with distribution too. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be a little bit of a tough road till they get back to, as much as you want to hate Diamond for distribution. And I'm not pitching Diamond, bro. Like, I know the problems with them. I'm just saying, like, it's there. Yeah. Pack Comics was one of the first two. Yep. Direct to market publishers. That was on the West Coast. I was just saying, like, Big Rapids was out here, and so was Donahue. So those were our two big ones regionally. Pack was on the West Coast.
Are you saying Donahue?
Seagate. Yeah, it's Donahue Brothers.
Oh, okay. I feel as you said that, I'm thinking like maybe
Phil
I'm
Donahue.
hearing that wrong because I'm thinking of the
Phil
show.
Donahue. Yeah, no, not Phil Donahue. No. It was somebody else.
Donahue was in comics? That's crazy,
Oh,
old man.
that lucky bastard.
Exactly.
Yeah, so like Eric's saying, like the factual dates for those to try to figure out. Now, I'm not going to say what he was looking at because I really like what it is, and we're trying to still track down what he's trying to look for. There isn't actual factual dates. Like that's why a lot of times when it'll give you the full month for the release date. There are ways to try to track down where it hits stores, but it's rough and like you don't know 100% for sure. I mean, look, man, we're calling everybody in on this, so we're trying to figure it out. I know it's like deep down nerdy, like dorky stuff, and I probably have better stuff to do, but I love this, man. Like the best detective ain't Batman. It's me. So we're gonna go. We're gonna go.
Okay.
But yeah, I hope you guys like that. I know it's fast. You guys can hit up my questions. I do answer them back on the IG. I'm not the best on the old computers, but yeah. So that's how distribution works. Just so everybody gets like a round thing, because I know everybody always says like newsstands and they don't know where it was. Well, when you start looking into like that period, right, like where he was talking, Eric, when he was talking about 79 to 84, like you got to think that's when direct was starting to catch up to newsstands, right? Like that's where it was starting to catch up, and then you see the transition out of there.
And they still had more printings of newsstand than they did direct.
Well, yeah, there's a lot more drugstores than there was comic book stores, wasn't there?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Man,
think about that.
That's so cool.
Man, oh cool, man! I'm glad somebody enjoyed
Going
it.
to your local convenience store and be able to pick up a comic off the rack.
Hell yeah! I remember seeing that when I was like a little kid, like at my Boys and Girls Club. There was a pizza shop that was down the way, and then a Circle K. And I would go into the Circle K, and I would see where the magazines were, and then sometimes there were comics, and I would just sit there and flip through it. Of course, I had no money for it, but I was like, "Ooh, this is so cool."
Yeah, I mean, we had like in ours too. Like I remember when Mortal Kombat came out. Like there was a pizza shop that had. And they had three things a pizza shop had. Apparently pizza. Nobody bought that. They had Mortal Kombat in the corner, which lots of fights got started over that. Who had quarters where, you know what I mean? And the third thing was like, or the real things were like they had a little candy, like one of those candy dispensers. And they also had, which people start staying away for because the quarters you had to save for the Mortal Kombat. But then they also had the newsstand, like little, hey kids, we got comics thing. And, you know, I read a lot of stuff in that too. So like, I mean, I love newsstand, don't get me wrong, but like when people are like, this is the rarest thing, it's like, well, yeah, it is kind of later on in my childhood, but not that rare, dude. It was everywhere. So
yeah.
I mean, people still look at me funny when I'm in a comic shop and I'm like, oh yeah, I used to buy fucking comics at the grocery store. Kroger, Farmer Jack, right off the magazine.
Wiggly.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, JJ, I have a very strong inkling on what that is, and I'll talk to you about it. I mean, I don't have 100%, but I mean, there's
that cornbread.
About why they put the stickers. Think about this. Like, you can go into some stores right now where they there's a 2-scanner system. The old way of scanning on how stuff certainly had to happen for a dollar amount to ring up. And then there's a POS system that a lot of systems don't use anymore for their inventory systems. So some stores, I'm not saying this is the case with that book. This is why I don't want to say in front of everybody, because everybody's going to be like, oh, he said this was the case in front of that. So around that time, there's a inventory POS system that changed over, point of sale system that changed over for your inventory systems. A lot of comic book stores would either put it on the actual direct mailing, like on the book on that portion, so they could scan it in that way, or they would put it on the back if they're using bags and boards. And a lot of
they put their own sticker on it so they could scan it. Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, because there was a direct system that you could do that would add it also into the inventory system at the time. From what I hear. I mean, I got to still ask a couple more people about that, but that's kind of what I hear on that. Kind of like when Kodiak was doing their stuff and they started putting those UPC scans all over the back of the books and stuff like that.
You just peel them off, though, when you find one like that, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then, like, glue on the...
So how it works... So when you're going to the what's it's called on the bases, Maxwell, that could be one of the situations, but a lot of times that's not how the stay safe or whatever. I think that's what he's asking. Is that what you're asking? I can't read comments and try to comment at the same time. I just go sideways.
It's not a multitask.
No, dude. No, I take baths, bro.
No, we had an Aladdin's Castle too, JJ. And then right next door was a place called The Stand. And that's where I picked up 2 first issues of TMNT, read them, put them back on the shelf, and walked out because I was a kid and I was poor.
Yeah.
I didn't have money for it. And went back and read the second print and went back and read the third print. And still to this day.
That's why I got to thank the dude at the pizza shop, because like I didn't have quarters to keep up with everybody else. You know what I mean? So like, what else are you going to do? Like, your friends ain't going no place. They're staying there playing.
Yo, when I was a kid, we bounced all over the place like all the time before my brother was born. He's 10 years younger than me. And we would move like every year and stuff like that. And then once he was coming and my mom was pregnant with him, we moved into this apartment place. And as we were moving in, there was this dude that was in the apartment next door to us, and he was moving out. And he saw me just chilling there, playing with toys and stuff like that. And he had this box. He's like, "Hey, you like comics?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Oh yeah.
I'm 9. I'm 9, and he gives me this box, and I look through it. I'm like, "Man, these are cool. I like these colors." And then my mom took them and put them away. She's like, "You're not ready for this." She put them, and I was just like, "All right, whatever." And then I went back to, playing with Power Rangers and whatnot, and throwing rocks at people. A few, when we moved into the house, when my brother was like 6, so I was 16. I look back at those comics, and there was 1 through 8 of the first prints for the Watchmen in there. There was some first print TMNT. There was some heat in there, and I still got them. Yeah.
I love to hear that, dude. That's amazing.
I sat up there and looked at it. I looked at my mom and was like, "You did it."
High five.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what's funny too. Like when you get in it's funny when you hear different stories. Because I mean, as a youth, I was always like, man, I got a ton. My family's pretty big. Like we're Greeks. Like we got a bunch of kids. So you didn't get a lot of stuff, but like you kept it. And when you hear about these parents like putting stuff out at the curb, like you didn't put stuff at the curb at my house. Like you didn't, never, because like that cost money, dude. So like, I mean, when people come over to my house and they make fun of my kids playing with first gen like stuff, like Transformers and Turtles and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, that's because that's what we didn't ever throw anything away.
Exactly. They don't know. Like, see, I'm first gen American. Everybody's from Jamaica, so we know all about that too. Like that mindset of the whole like, nah, if it ain't broke, that shit is not going in the garbage. Like,
even if it's broke, hey,
you got super glue, you got tape, you got a damn magnifying glass. That's you can still play with.
Hey, you just got it. They just got injured. That's all it is. They're just missing a body part at this point. That's what it is.
So you got to play doctor with your action figure. Okay, cool.
Okay, hey, I'd never heard this before. Like I started to grow up, and people are like, "Oh yeah, we buried those in the backyard." I was like, "Oh, if I buried one of my toys in the backyard, that would be the end of this. There'd be no more toys. No more toys for you."
Like, no,
We buried GI Joes when they died.
Man, I remember I couldn't I was doing my chores and my dad said, "Okay, I'll pay you for this and you can go and buy comics, you can go buy toys and everything like that." And I would sit up there and do my chores and I would get like $5 or $6 in that week, and I would take my behind to the dollar store and get those dollar store action figures. Yeah, and I would sit up there and take pen caps and all kinds of stuff and make guns. I would carve them out and use the magnifying glass and add them to there and do all kinds of stuff. Yo, I love that. And people were like, "Oh man, why don't you just go buy those action figures?" It's like, you got $10 for me to do that or not? Yeah. All right, cool. So shut up and let me play with my toys.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Look at Alex Ross. That's how he got his start. I mean, he made a Scotch tape and Invisible Woman so that he could, draw her and play, Fantastic Four and stuff.
Yeah, man.
That's
all about the creativity, adjusting. Like I feel that's one of the things that I know this is going into a segue in an entirely different realm, but it's one of those things that, like,
dude, it's 1:30 in the morning out here. You can go into all the realms you want to go into.
The whole like giving the kids like too much, not allowing them to explore as much. Like my daughter, I don't give the phone to her if we're gonna watch a show. If we're gonna watch a show, we're watching it on TV. If we're going to read something, we're going to read it in the book. We're going to read the physical thing. I want to continue that. I want that to be a passed down thing. I want her to understand the card catalog system. Like I want her to understand that, because that's stuff that creates different connections in how we understand how to, interact with the world. And I think that stuff is very necessary. Like adjusting. We have these comics, like what I said about my mom, she put that aside because she was like, "Okay, I think this is going to be good for you later. You just ain't ready yet." So it's not about like, "Oh yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. He can destroy it and blah, blah, blah." No, we got to make sure that we pass on that mindset of like, "Yo, this stuff is worth something for a reason. So let's take care of it. Let's take care of those mindsets. These toys are good. These toys are still good. You may have outgrown it, but give it to somebody else that could use it." You know what I mean?
Yeah, to give it to somebody else is big, man.
Yeah.
That's why, like, even with some of the stuff, we'll get to it in 1 second. Even one of the stuff that, like, I let my kids. People think it's ridiculous, right? Like they do. They think it's ridiculous that I let the kids play with my old toys, whatever. I don't care. But they also think it's ridiculous that I let them in the offices, because I got 2 offices, and they're like, "But what happens if they?" Well, then they learn a lesson. Like there's box figures. Of course, every single time they want to open them when they come in. It's like, you can't open them. And it's why? Because do you have X amount of dollars? You don't have a job yet. So no, you can't open them. You get a job, feel free. You can pay me for it. You can have it.
You got to teach them that.
You do. That's good, man. I'm glad. I just thought, hey, thanks, Terrence, and no thanks.
And for everyone that's still crying about me tearing up that book earlier, this is a free trash book that I practice pressing on. Like I have a whole box right here full of them. Like they're already destroyed and water damaged and tore to hell, and pages are cut out. Like that's all they are is practice. I don't destroy, man. I rebuild and take care of and double bag and board sometimes.
You can rebuild them.
That's funny, JJ. Do you have a theory on that, Matt, on Eric's thing?
Any thoughts on the possible Queen Carnage coming out? And I don't think so, because it's alternate universe. It's Gwenpool's universe, so I don't see Queen Carnage coming. I think they're gonna make Mary Jane as a standalone Carnage in that book, because they've kind of had that standing rivalry, being in the band, the Mary Janes, with each other. I think they have that standing rivalry, so I don't see Queen Carnage coming out, but I know that Mary Jane's going to take over the Carnage symbiote in that universe.
Damn.
But maybe, it's good spec, but
yeah, no, I'm sorry, my brain is not working anymore, dude. But I just saw this, and does this say what I think this is?
Yeah, it does. I blew a few figures up with some black cats, and I may have buried a couple of Jawas in the dirt that I had to go back and dig out, and I had to do some stuff with some figures. There might be one or two.
No,
there
that would be the end of That would be the end of it for me.
If you're in Fort Collins, Colorado, and you live on Baylor Street, and your house is white, guess what? There may be some Dukes of Hazzard cards and Star Wars toys in your backyard.
People that aren't watching the video and just listening, this young lady said, "I played Joan of Arc Barbie when I was 6. Cool. Major props, and blew a crater in the back lawn with a Barbie sparkler bomb." What's a Barbie sparkler bomb? I don't even know what that is. And shockingly, they kept buying me Barbies. That would not. Nope, that does not play at my house.
I can describe and tell you, but
is that your sister?
We will get flagged and pulled because they are illegal, and you cannot be making pipe bombs in today's day.
Oh, you can't say that on here. But hey, listen, I can't even like. That's the Wookiee house has got to be the craziest house. I don't know what type of stuff is going on in that house. No. That's
I grew up every summer on a farm, dude. Like my uncles taught me how to make stuff that no young child should ever know how to make.
Yeah, but our parents wouldn't like that. Wouldn't play like you can't blow up Barbies and whatever G.I. Joes and stuff like that. Well, Female Carnage is coming in comics, not just on a variant cover. Yeah, I think Eric.
Yeah,
I think
she's coming in the Venom or Gwenom versus Carnage one-off tie-in for King in Black, but it's not going to be like it's gonna. She's taking over the actual Carnage symbiote. It's not going to be the Queen Carnage situation.
All right. Hey, listen, we got a lot of stuff going on still this week. I know a lot of people are at home with their families, and I love my family too, but there's only so much a family you can take. Make sure you're tuning in for the rest of the week. We've got some good stuff for you.
Just pull up Combat Cardles.
We got some good stuff for you. Hey, if you're still on, please get some sleep. You know we're going to 9:15. Thanks again to John Z and whatever. The Star Wars Last Mando reviews coming on there. We will have some giveaways. Some will be toys. We got some toys we're going to give away. We'll give away one of these over here maybe. We're going to give a little Cardinal. I know we're having trouble finding that. We're going to give a little Ahsoka toys away. We're going to give away some Legos. We're going to give away some books. Who knows, man?
People to watch that show.
It depends. No. Hopefully, it's not a lot of new people. I really just out to like the JJs of the world and the Erics and all the people that are already watching my show. We're gonna give out some stuff. We're gonna give it away. We're not gonna hear any complaining about how we're doing it. We're not gonna hear anything like that. But we're gonna have a heck of a show. We'll probably go on for an hour or two. So please tune in for that. What else we got? We still got
what time? Say the time. Tomorrow at
like 9:15 EST. So whatever you guys in the desert who are crazy because you live in heat for some reason do out there, it's going to be around. Yeah. Hey, look, man, it's not my fault you moved out there.
I like it. I like the heat. That's it.
And you cry at Care Bear, so look, bro, out here we don't.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Better than snow.
You're damn right about that.
It is not, man. I'll be honest with you.
That's wrong. No, sir. That is an incorrect statement.
Nah,
I've shoveled enough driveways in my life that I'll deal with.
By the way, if you cry during Luke, automatic disqualification. Automatic disqualification.
Never have to shovel sunshine.
That's right.
Hey.
I like shoveling snow.
Yes.
You know they make these things called snow blowers?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to shovel anything.
You know they make this thing called sunshine? That is
Yeah,
crazy.
dude, you should.
Oh, it's so comfortable. You
No.
Yeah,
whoa,
the big thing-
whoa.
Snowboards are great
Arizona
until you're
summertime.
going down
It
a
is not
driveway.
comfortable.
And
I'm
it turns
a big
on
dude,
and
too.
blows down your shirt, and you're like, God damn, and you're
Yeah,
all
you take off
freezing now.
You take off your slides and you put them on the side, and they burnt, and you try to jump out the pool. You know how hot it is. You know how cool it is when you're like 23 years old and you're down at the pool in Arizona, and you're like, "Hey, what's up, ladies?" And all of a sudden, you jump out the pool and you put on your slides, and your feet burn. Ain't cool, bro. Not cool.
That's how I know your punk ass was pampered as a little kid, and you was outside running around with shoes. I was running around with no shoes. Let's go.
Yeah, your dainty, delicate little feet
Yeah.
can't handle it.
No, I'm sorry. I'll run around in snow with no shoes on. I'm not running in 160-degree burning. You could cook freaking bacon on the sidewalk.
Man, right.
No.
We ain't hungry. We grilling on the floor.
I'm good. I'm not eating floor food. I'm good. I'm an adult. I can buy my own food now.
You never eat sidewalk eggs?
And just so you all know, all you really need is some radiant heat, and you can turn on a switch, and then it just melts the snow off your driveway.
Yeah, you can do all types of stuff. It ain't that serious out here. It ain't that serious out here.
I
7:15
grew up
AS.
there. It's that serious.
Thank you.
No, I'm good in the desert. I don't like the heat, but I'm not dealing with the snow anymore. But anybody got anything else you guys want to talk about? Go over? No, quiet. Bueller. All right. So again,
dude, this would be cool. We don't have that up yet, but I should probably do something like that. That would be fun. Go ahead. Sorry, Matt.
I was gonna say, everyone in the chat, thank you so much. Fire chat this week, as always. We love the participation. We love seeing you guys here every Saturday night to getting a little mayhem with us. If you had a good time, hit that like button. Remember to subscribe. Please check out.
I always give it the thumbs down.
Yeah. Well, you whatever, Kyle. Please check out the guests we have tonight. Check out Grizzled Geek on Friday nights. If you're after the Hot 10 or you catch the playback or before the Hot 10, make sure to check out Grizzled Geek. Show them guys some love. Check out Tim and Chopper. Check out Marco and Solo Wookie tomorrow night on the final Mando review. I'm sure that's gonna be fire.
I'm gonna go in there crying.
You just said it was terrible earlier, but yeah, it'll be all right.
We're
Check
gonna
out,
have so many crying emojis.
Yeah, make sure to check out Flip Side on Monday. If you're missing Modern Playbook, you can check that show out on Wednesday. And check out all the great shows that are on this channel, especially the fire interview that Comic Book Women did.
That's hot. It's hot. Oh, we're moving our regular the regular Star Wars show that only a couple of us watch. We're moving that till Thursday to try to pick up a couple more.
I was saying nobody cares. Like 20 people watch it. Dude.
Yeah, I know.
I'm down over there. I'm just kidding.
So we're just moving it till Thursday now.
We're just alarming the 17 that watch our show because there's other two who are here.
Hey, my mom
Yeah,
watches
they
that
do
show,
that here.
dude. Stop knocking that show. She loves it. Just like that artist loves that art that they made of the Joker, because that's the only person who's going to buy that. Anyways, go ahead, man. Sorry.
I was just saying, check out all the good shows on this channel, and we got fire stuff to come, and we're always pumping out new content. But yeah, Kyle, why don't you send us home since you kicked us off?
In the sexy voice with the smoking jacket on, please.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for coming and checking out Modern Comic Mayhem. We hope you have a pleasant and great Saturday night and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you. Take care. Keep them bagged and boarded.
Make sure to hit that bell so you have notification turned on your way out, so you know when we go live.
Feel
Saturday
better,
night.
Kyle, man. Feel better.